to begin?
You may wanna add this for everybody.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I did call.
Definitely need
We called
glasses
that
for
on the
this.
way here.
Susan, I'll get your seal, your clerk seal
No, it didn't. What do I need that
for
tonight?
the burial.
Is that in there?
Yeah, it's on the desk, on the right-hand side, just sitting on the tabletop.
But some of the.
Yeah. So it's like an extra hour. No, effective immediately.
That's the way I travel all the time.
Yeah. Try to get some accommodation.
I don't know what it is. She's got teeth on it.
What is this? Yeah. Yeah. What's that?
Yes, Sharon.
I can set up some more chairs if you need.
I wanna sit in the front row.
Yeah, of course.
I'm just checking that you all have signed in. Okay, and you signed in?
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
Sorry, the font's a little small, I do apologize, we can also, we can get you guys a larger, a larger one, I printed it away for you last time, so we don't have time to make it bigger.
Good evening.
Hello.
Hey, how's it going?
Good.
Did I pass you earlier?
You probably did. You were losing other white trucks.
Yeah, exactly. Been looking for this guy, but I never seem to pass him. Even in the morning, incognito.
Get some more chairs, David.
You do. You got the only truck on the road that's not white at the time. It should be.
Okay, are we running on the camera?
We are not, we do not have the camera going. Oh, yes,
I
this
mean,
one,
yes.
yes, the video, yes. Yeah, and it is 6:30 right now.
Good evening, everybody. I'd like to call a meeting to order at 6:30. And item number 1 is Lake Moxie Road spring posting, NEC representative and Phil Curtis to be present to talk to the board as necessary. Good evening, everybody. This is David and Denise Rancourt, 2 taxpayers. And this is the NEC, you see 4 people right here, and with Jamie and Sharon. So I guess we can begin. I had talked with Catherine, is it? Catherine
Yes.
Rowland? Catherine, and let her know that we were gonna be discussing the road posting at tonight's meeting. Cause we act once a month when we get together, and she opted to have you folks come, which is awesome. And let's start the discussion. Last year, we, posted the road postings as of March 1st.
Okay.
And they lasted until almost the end of April. Almost. I think we had May 15th on it last
Yeah.
year, March 1st to May 15th.
Yeah.
And already the roads are heaving already.
Mhm.
Phil, would you have any input that you could start off with, or? You know, Phil represents the center part of the
Or
road.
would it help Phil if he knew maybe what the intent of NECEC to?
Yeah, we
to
can,
help
we'll
him?
let you guys have the floor
So-
first, yeah.
Thank you so much for having us. We
Yes,
really
absolutely.
appreciate you guys taking the time out of your meeting to hear us out.
Okay, go ahead, I guess, NEC's got the floor.
So, we've already talked to a few of the other towns, and with the tight time limit, we've talked to them about written agreements. Obviously, if we had more time to work with, one of the things that is the best thing to go with, of course, is a bond. A little easier going, but in the timeframe, last week, worked with Anson, I worked with Moscow, and basically said if we could enter an agreement to use the posted roads during the period of time they're supposed to be posted, we would be responsible for damages and repairs. Preferably repairs, the contractors picked by the local community select board, so we keep the work local. For instance, gravel's needed,
Right.
something like that, maybe you hire Andy Webb. If some hot top work is needed, like they mentioned down there, we like to use Jimmy Peters fine line, stuff like that. So, we don't wanna tell you, you're gonna use this, you're gonna use this. We're gonna know the damages that have happened and fix them. And we signed a letter of agreement with both those towns. I was the one that signed it, so
With Anson and,
Anson and Moscow. Basically, after going to Anson with Moscow and sitting down with the selectmen, they said, we don't wanna reinvent the wheel, can we see their letter? So we showed them their letter, and they just changed Anson to Moscow. And they're a little different because they got some windmill stuff going on. So we're gonna work closely with Chimbro, and I said, we're well beyond, you did this, we did this, we're windmills, you're power line. We're well beyond that, cause we're working together on that road. We're gonna document the things, have our drivers, if they see something, get it in, we'll track it, and then, if you see something, you let us know. If anything comes in for a complaint, it's not for the select board to shoulder those complaints, but to pass them directly on to us. And it's up to us to take care of those. We wanna keep all roads passable at all times, so if they need touching up, something needs a temporary repair, cause we've gotta get emergency vehicles in and out, along with people who don't have four-wheel drives, you know, that you need to get in and out of roads. So, the intent is, you know, we take care of things as they're happening, and then when the season's over, you know, go over things, and whether it is, we meet on site, you know, cause the weather's gonna be a lot nicer then, and address the concerns, and say, okay, this area, this is what we need to do.
And we also take video of the roads pre-construction,
Yeah.
so we know what they look like and have record that we've kept of sort of, you know, the condition of the road, with the intention of going back and making sure that it has that pre-construction.
So those videos are already on file?
Yes.
Okay.
When were those videos taken, before the project, or?
It would have been upon the restart. It's really any time before, directly before they got into those accesses.
Because I've noticed the road is very damaged already. I don't know if anybody if anybody travels Moxie Road before, and now the road is very damaged already. And I feel like we just had it done. I'm
Yeah,
not
no,
pointing
no.
fingers, I'm just saying what I've noticed. And I didn't know if you all felt the same way, or, I guess I'm the only
Jim,
one
would
who
you-
noticed.
Well, having been working with a lot of crews, building a lot of bridges and a lot of roads, and having worked with a lot of contractors and engineers working on roads, what we experienced this past year with the high amount of rain that saturated the ground along with the rain that hit that big storm and pretty much filled the lake back up. When the ground's saturated and the temperature's going up and down, we put kind of a worst-case scenario for frost heaves in the road. And it's primarily in the north that we've experienced that, because the frost, I'm gonna say, south of Skowhegan really isn't there, we're not having the heaving. It's up here where we're getting the colder temperatures, and that moisture is in the ground, and even in some of the best drained places, the ground was just so saturated, that water couldn't go anywhere but sit in the road, going up the hill, I know that's the worst spot right there,
Yeah.
where you jump around, I haven't seen that heave, since before they put the hot top down a few years ago.
Really?
That's the last time it was heaved like that, and
And there's definitely a lot more
Oh, God,
heavy
yeah.
equipment going down the road.
yeah.
I don't know if you've looked at it recently, I know he's,
I've noticed,
And,
you know, the places where we're working, the edges are some cracks that I've noted, and, I know it's hard to pinpoint during that time. I know Moscow posted when that rain came through, because they lost the road, and we ended up having to stay off it, but, it was such a quick time, we were back on it in a week, because we spent a week of repairing roads. So up here, we had 78 washouts, from Spencer Road to Troutdale to Capitol Road to Wilson Hill. And during that time, right after, we had our crews concentrating, not so much on doing project, but repairing roads. And it took 2.5 weeks,
Yep.
Yeah.
2.5 weeks before we could get everything done, and then said, okay, let's go to work again.
Right.
So,
Resume.
yeah, I duly noted those heaves there, and I know we're getting a lot of traffic with us. You're getting the usual traffic with the, people going up with the trucks going across, cutting wood and stuff. Nothing heavy this year like past years. You know, when they were cutting in 3 places on the Blackbrook Pond Road.
Who's up in there right now? Olson's off Shirley Road somewhere.
No,
Melton's up in there
Melton's
somewhere
up.
now?
Welch is up in there also.
Welch is
off
Off the Bushy Road.
Yeah,
Up beyond the dam.
because they shut Shirley down for everything and rerouted the trail all the way up towards, yeah.
And someone's
And,
moving
Land
in the
Vest.
fish pond.
Lambest is logging off the pickup.
Okay, I heard about that
And
one.
they're moving in the fish pond tomorrow.
Okay,
Manchester is,
Land Vest is?
Yes.
well,
Things are moving.
so I mean, there's 2 portions of the road, of course,
Right.
there's from watching how it was rebuilt back a few years ago. I know there's
19.
a county piece, there's a town piece. Looks like one road, but I know there's some responsibilities there, and, you know, if we're gonna enter into that agreement with the county and the town, you know, we would,
It's 2 entities that own the road that we,
Yeah.
and
we wanna, you know, we obviously don't wanna crumble the road up to a point that we gotta sink a lot of money into it. So I mean, there's gonna be looking at the situation of how the conditions really are. You know, same with Lake Moxie, we're gonna get off the hot top and try to go down Lake Moxie. There's gonna come a point where even that may not be feasible, but we're gonna have to run York rakes, run graders, and,
Yeah. you're not gonna
keep
keep it up.
those up, because we're gonna keep them passable. Because the last thing I want is a text from him.
There's a small
Yeah.
portion of
Which I
Text
deserve.
for me was, my wife is yelling at me.
But I mean, that's what in a way, I do wanna know about those things, so
Yeah.
if I don't know about the things, the guy's driving too fast, the guy's not yielding,
Parking or.
all this stuff, then I can't correct it.
And it
So-
should be noted too that, of course, safety is always our #1 priority. We instill that in our contractors as well, and part of that is making sure that the roads are safe and passable. So, I mean, if there's a communication that can happen with Jim, then we can do something about it.
And is there a small portion of Indian Pond Road as well? No, just Moxie
Well, no, we own to the dam.
to the dam, okay.
And
So it would include
Right where
that,
the bridge begins.
yeah, that little portion
Yeah, I mean,
as well, okay.
That's right where the bridge deck begins, CMP owns the bridge.
Right,
One question I have, and it was addressed, but it's not clear to me, how you accurately assess the damage that is related to the heavy trucking, which is not only, your project, but also the logging, versus the type of damage that might occur naturally in a winter like we've been having.
Yep.
I mean, it's unclear to me how you make that differentiation and how you assess it. And I'm just trying to get a handle on the video of the road. Was that taken, like, is it taken now, last week? I mean, how long ago? When is that taken, or has it been taken, and how long ago?
Well, so we would have started in August, but we would have been focused south of here.
Right.
And really, they should be doing the videos before they enter an area, right? So I mean, what we can do, we could have them reshoot those videos now, to avoid any concerns for any of the roads that we're talking about now.
So
To get
you're
the
saying
time
that
frame
you
closer.
took the video in August?
We would have started taking videos in August,
Okay.
you know, in sequence with the construction as we were moving forward. Yeah.
Has one been taken of this road to this point? Do you know?
Oh, yeah, any,
Okay. So we have a baseline of
Yeah.
some
And
sort.
we do them not just for town roads, if you have a private road and we gain access on it, or the paper company has a private road, we do those also. We take care of all of them and then,
Okay.
work to return them back to the way they were before we were in there.
So how do they look then?
so this list of these towns, and it says the agreement status is that bond agreement you discussed.
Not
No.
a month.
No,
Not
just
one.
a, simple written
Yeah.
memorialized agreement
Okay,
in conversation.
so there's no,
The copy of the
I
line
didn't
signed?
bring
I can run up to the car.
Yeah.
Let me go grab it real quick.
One-
It
one-
essentially said,
so this is what it, when it says pending, you're in process of getting it completed.
well, that's the pending, I think, is because we're here today,
Yeah,
for Emden.
I mean, cause
Concord.
Stark says pending, and Emden and
Starks,
Concord.
we will not necessarily need to use these roads, so this one is pretty much completed. We've
We have
already,
3 points of access in Starks. Route 43 are all the 3 points that we're gonna be using, so they're not posted
State
roads.
Mhm.
state routes, and then, they turned into the private roads, which we're stacking and utilizing now. I actually
Right,
talked with each one of those landowners, got them, back advised, and, one's allowing us to put essentially big mat piles right there, so we can
Wow.
utilize.
So pending just means we haven't sat down with them yet.
so I,
So what we did do prior to all this is try to reach out to all the towns, right, here prior to the posting season,
just
so,
communications done.
and, get the
you
communication.
get a
get-
copy of that, you got one copy, right?
We've got, one version, this is the original actually for Anson,
Okay,
and a copy of Mouse. Yep.
so we need to.
Phil, do you have any thoughts about this?
Yes.
You're pretty experienced about this, how this is, I mean, yeah, any thoughts about the process as these folks have described it?
I guess my role in this whole thing is being the middle guy. And the middle guy gets pinched from both ends,
Yep, exactly.
so I'm pretty well self-protective here. From the county standpoint, or the county is responsible for the portion of the road that's in the unorganized territory of Moxie Gold. That's 3.17 miles. Forks is a mile on each end, give or take a tenth or two there. Over the time, the last 15 years or so, we have joined hands with the Forks, the county, and rehabilitated that road pretty much to bring it up to a more acceptable, travelable way. In that, both municipalities and the municipality and the county have spent considerable money and dollars. We didn't rebuild the road because we couldn't afford it. So we took the road where it was, we did what we had to do to bring it up, and we added a foot of gravel pretty much from the intersection there at the helicopter pad down through about 2 to 2.5 miles into the county area. And then we shimmed and surfaced everything So we ended up with about 12 inches of decent gravel underneath the pavement. We ended up with 3.5 inches of pavement on that section that we rehabbed. Not knowing what's underneath that, not knowing what the bed of that road is down below that 12 to 15 inches of material that we put in there, we couldn't find out. I mean, we don't know. It became cost imperative to not even dig there, because everywhere we dug, we found mud. So in essence, what we did was, with the fabric and the gravel, we brought the road up to a reasonable, travelable way, and travelable and maintainable. So we're concerned, from the county standpoint, and I think the folks from the same, we're concerned about what happens to that road in the soft period of time that we're entering into right now. What happens underneath that surface of that road, and I'm not gonna give you a lot of information, but we've got 3.5 inches of hot mix pavement. That pavement is not designed to flex. Okay, in other words, it's solid, when it flexes, it breaks. When it breaks, there's a crack across the road. Crack opens up, lets water in, laying underneath that pavement. And underneath that pavement, you've got a variety of thicknesses of ice or frost, depending upon what's underneath that gravel, whether it's a water susceptible soil, which be it a clay or loam or just plain mud. Mud is just dirt with water into it. That is under the road will vary in the thickness of that frost under the pavement. In other words, some places will be 1 foot of frost, other places will be 2 feet of frost, other places will be 4 feet of frost. Depends on how the sun hits it, how the sun doesn't hit it, what happens when that freezes and thaws right under the pavement. Every night when it refreezes, it thaws in the daytime, and every night that it refreezes, it builds an ice rinse. And it's like, you fill your ice cube tray level full with water, and you put it in the freezer. When you take it out, your ice cubes have expanded. That's what happens underneath that pavement. So what happens when you come in with a heavy load, while that water is liquid form underneath that pavement, you squish that down, that pavement flexes, hence we end up with a crack. When that refreezes, that ends up pushing that crack up. And you get a pretty good idea how high the bumps are getting on what's underneath the road. Where it's smooth, you've got pretty good drainage, you don't have that movement underneath the pavement. It's the movement of the pavement that we're concerned about with heavy loads. I'm in no position to make any agreement. That has to be done by the county commissioners. But I have valid concerns that heavy loads, anything, triaxle dump truck, empty, exceeds the 23,000 pounds, okay? You put 14 or 16 yards of material on that truck, whatever it may be, crushed stone, weighs less than mud does, okay, because you've got a lot of water. So you can get up in there to 65, 70, 75,000 pounds pretty easy. When that goes over that road, it depresses, it pushes that road down. As long as the road is frozen, as long as there is no visible liquid water on the surface of the road or in the cracks or the potholes, unfortunately, we haven't got any potholes yet. Okay, they will come. If there's any visible water laying anywhere on or around or underneath that road flexes, that pavement flexes. So every truck that comes over there, it flexes and flexes and flexes. That's our concern. If we can limit that, prevent that flexing, the pavement will come up by itself, it'll go down by itself, we'll have a small crack. When we push it down and it comes back up because of freezing time, we have a larger crack. We just sealed, we spent $30,000 sealing that 3 miles of road last summer, sealing those cracks to keep the water out if we can. So that's what happens in there. we're just headed into that time. And, Sandy and I talked the other day, and I said, you know, as far as I'm concerned, we post it 1st of March and end it 15th of May, depending upon the type of spring we have, depending upon if it dries out a little bit and some of that water that is saturated in the soil abutting it, in the ditches are full of water, if that has an opportunity to drain out, then that'll dry out quicker. Once the road smooths up, that ice is thawed out, the water drains out, you're back to a road that'll hold normal traffic. I suspect that most anything that goes in there for a piece of equipment far exceeds the 23,000 pounds. So, I don't know what kind of an agreement you have with the other municipalities, I'm not interested in that, I'm interested in it, but it doesn't concern us from the fact that we have to protect the investment that the consumer, the taxpayers spend. And, there's a lot of dollars in that road, I didn't take time to tell you that, but
Almost $1 million between us two.
right now, the cost of asphalt, we laid some asphalt down this past summer. And we went two miles, we went a 3/4 shim and 1.5 inches of surface. And it cost the county $220,000 per mile. So if we let you go, say, okay, go ahead and run. I like the video idea. The video doesn't tell what happened, it shows what's happened with the road surface. If we let you run, and we come back in here, we say, okay, we're gonna shim and surface these 3 miles of road, you're looking at considerable dollars that somebody's gonna pick up. And I'm gonna stand firm on the taxpayers are not gonna pay it again.
Right.
They can't. So, I don't know what you're looking for an agreement, but if you were, has a bond or earnest money or anything been talked about for these other municipalities?
The reason we didn't talk bond with them is because by the time you start the work with a bond, mud season's over. You know,
That's exactly right.
so by entering into the agreement we did about running on the roads and being responsible, totally responsible to fix them, that was accepted with the towns
So,
by signing for them.
so if we come in here this spring,
Yep.
1st of June, things are dried out, hopefully, unless we have a summer like we had last.
I hope not.
Nothing has dried out since 2022.
You're right.
We basically had an entire year of spring last year.
That's right.
Yeah. That was horrible.
So, the message what am I gonna convey to the commissioners? If we come in here and we view the road and we recognize that the damages have been done, they have been done because you're in there, wood trucks are in there. We can't police it.
No,
Sheriff's Department can't put anybody up there and,
no, they don't, I stay up on the pond and I see the logging trucks coming and going when the water's running down the road, I follow them. So, I mean, that happens in every town, I know.
I guess my question to you folks is, take the whole 3 miles of road, you're $1 million in a hurry. You just come back in and shim and surface it,
Yeah.
and, I don't know, you don't have that probably in your petty cash drawer.
Can you walk us through that process just real quick?
What's that?
Walk us through that, can you walk us through the process of,
Shim and surface?
yeah, just to make sure I understand.
Wherever there are dips in the road, where there are wheel tracks that are now
You
permanent,
get what they call carriaging on a road,
and
only where the wheel tracks are.
and you see what we call alligator cracking, that means it's a soft spot under the road, the pavement has flexed so much that it's broke into pieces. Many more cracks have shown up than what we had there to begin with. So we have to shim that, in other words, we have to bring the contour of that road back up to its contour, which is a 4% slope. And then we put a fresh coat of surface on that. We shim it with 3/8 stone mix, and we use 1/2 inch stone mix for the surface. And the stone is the weight bearing part of that whole thing. So you repave the road, shim it to bring it up to where you need to be, you get the contour of the road, get the roughness out of it, then you end up with a reasonably smooth road from there.
Is that like a cross-sectional
What they
replacement
do
where
is
it's
they
damaged,
will,
or is it the
they'll
whole?
set the hot top machine, they'll set it for the pitch that he's talking about.
Yep.
So in places, that'll be dragging.
Yep.
In places, it'll
Oh, I
be
gotcha.
high.
That's right.
So as they pull it and roll it in there, you'll see scraped hot top, which was original, and you'll see
Right.
crevices and valleys filled up. It makes the uniform, creates the 4%, and then they put the finish on it, and you've established it. So your final mix doesn't become a shim and a coat because of the stone. For instance, the base of the road that he's talking about when they did it, that base was so rocky, it almost looked like it didn't have much tar in it, but it had a lot of stone, and that was the strength in it. And then your top coat has a little less stone, a lot more of the tar and the sand properties in it, and that's smoother. So it does, basically, so you're not wearing your tires out by going up and down the road a few times. But it still holds, your strength is underneath.
Okay.
And then your strength is in the gravel that was used underneath that. And the fabric he's talking about, the fabric keeps your clay from mixing with your gravel and pushing the gravel right straight through the clay, so your clay bubbles up into the road. And that's,
And it never goes back.
Right.
You give me 2 pounds of gravel and 2 pounds of clay, and I'm giving back 4 pounds of mud.
right, exactly.
You're-
I know,
So
yeah, I'm
Just there.
yeah,
And the strength of the pavement is only as good as the base that it sets on.
right.
And had we had unlimited funds to go in there and go down 3 or 4 feet and put a 4-foot, 3-foot base underneath there, properly drained and proper material, you know, it would be a whole different situation, but we know it's not there. That area from, coming down from the far end of it, come up through by the river village there, then you come onto a flat spot. That was, we changed the culverts in that road, and that was a dry summer. We were running into water down there about 2.5, 3 feet.
Yeah.
Because of where the land is, where the road is,
We changed the whole.
the road should have come up 3 feet, but we can't do it. I mean,
So we'll work real hard on that road, and we need to protect our taxpayers' investment.
Because there's only, what, 48 of us?
No matter how many of them.
Well,
I'm on those right. There's my money out of my pocket.
And that's why we're here, to talk to the community, right? Like, that's why we wanna have this conversation, because it's not as if we don't.
Yeah, and it's not like we have a large town where there's thousands of
Right, of
us,
course.
you know, there's like such a small amount of us.
And I have a concern too, if, you know, we were to grant the letter, then what would stop the logging companies for saying,
They're not
well,
allowed to run under our letter.
no, but I mean,
No.
they could
We're
see
not-
that
we're not
happen.
allowing them- That's up to someone
Oh.
else.
I know, but
Yeah.
I'm just saying,
That's,
they'll say, oh, well,
Somerset
you allowed it
Sheriff's
for
Department.
one,
right.
why can't we do it?
Well, if they wanna sign on and, be part of the responsibility.
Yeah,
Right.
Which I know they won't.
Rick sounds like they're gonna start poaching on that.
Yeah.
You know, like, oh, these
Now,
guys are
who
gonna.
polices that?
So my question is, you had mentioned that you're gonna have you and maybe an assessor or something do a walk down the road and figure out where the damage is. What if we don't agree with that? What if there's a little bit, or an agreement on the method that you're gonna choose to repair the road?
To
Do we need a
evaluate.
third party? Do we need Pike Industry to come in here and have an objective view?
Yeah, I didn't say we were the ones that were gonna pick the third party.
No, I'm
Yeah,
just saying,
That would be up to you guys who you
Yeah.
pick.
so there, you are proposing a third party then, is that,
Well, you can use yourselves, you can fix it yourselves. No, I'm just saying that we're taking the stance with the other towns, that we will not tell you who you have to hire.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, I was just like, who determines where the damage is, and then also the timeframe is,
Yeah.
you know, it says in the letter that it has to be passable at all times, but who determines what passable means?
I mean, I'm on that road quite a bit. I drive it quite a bit, other people drive it quite a bit, and I would expect the minute someone sees something, that I would receive a call, or community relations would receive a call.
Yeah.
And someone like, if I'm not available, I know he's gonna be riding right out there that day, looking at it, and if need be, if say Sandy or Charlie or even Chris says, hey, we wanna meet you out there that day and look at it at the same time, or even Phil.
If you see something, you say
Right.
something.
I get what you're saying.
I know
it's-
you're a man of your word, Jen, but it doesn't say
Right,
that in
no,
that
and
letter.
then you
Right.
look at it and go, hey, there's damage here, this
Yeah,
has gotta be
that
fixed.
letter is it's a one paragraph, and there's all kinds of gray area that,
Right.
you know, that you could walk away essentially, and I think, I'm just
Right.
saying that, I
That's
know
why
you're
we
not
give us
gonna
Yeah,
do that, I'm just
yeah.
saying, what is the assurance that we have as a town that wouldn't happen, that's all? And what is the time frame on the repair? So are you thinking like, you know, if a big pothole occurs, are you gonna do that, in March, or, you know, I don't know.
Obviously, things,
Well, they have to travel it,
Yeah,
so.
they'd have to fix it.
So they're gonna fix it, I assume, if it becomes a big issue, they're gonna have to repair it to get their
We have
trucks.
we have to do the make safe immediately, if
Yeah, we
there's
make
anything
safe
that goes.
I think the other thing too is, like you're talking about, a pothole. If one were to come up one day when it gets warm, it crumbles, that one piece, we're gonna wanna put a fix on that as soon as you can, because if you don't address it, it's just gonna go like this.
right.
We know that. So I mean, those are some of the things that gotta be taken care of immediately.
Oh,
Where are we gonna get someone, in March that's gonna be throwing down hot tub, you know? I don't know. I don't know
Make
that
it,
one.
like,
Yeah.
I think in all fairness, I think your chances of having potholes show up are pretty slim.
I gotta agree with you, yeah.
The quality of the pavement is still, is so, quality of the pavement that's on there is locked together tight enough so you're not gonna get that flex to create a pothole. So it's,
go ahead.
even if there is an area that breaks up for some reason, this time of year, you just can't get hot enough.
No,
I mean,
No,
So you're gonna have to live with it until the hot mix plants open up.
right.
well, that's what we did in Caratunk, we just, you know, right now, Andy came and filled it with dirt, and that's what we're driving on right now,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, but I don't think, unless you guys are showing up there with, I don't think you're gonna get a lot of potholes. I suspect on this end from 201 up through there for a ways, you're gonna see some breakup that you didn't expect, because it's already bumped. I mean, there's some sharp bumps there that, I was up here 2 weeks ago, they weren't there. They're there tonight,
Right,
so.
The one just above the old dump, is probably the biggest
yeah,
one.
that first hill.
Yeah.
So there's movement taking place every night when it freezes, gonna freeze again tonight. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
And then you're gonna have, Thursday, you're gonna have 40 degrees, wherever the sun
And then
shines
rain
on
on
that.
Friday.
Yeah.
Gonna thaw that. You think,
So,
from now until mid to end of April, as the sun continues to come up, it generates a whole lot more heat, it has a different angle, with more BTUs of heat shining on that surface now than it was a month ago, and what there will be in 2 months ahead. So what happens, that sunshiny spot, unfortunately, it runs east and west, so you don't get it all day there, but there are areas there where the sun hits. that's where it's gonna thaw out underneath that pavement. Just about an inch of water underneath that pavement, lets that pavement flex down an inch, and it is. That's, if I had my way, we'd freeze it up and we'd keep it frozen, and then tomorrow morning, we're gonna drain the water out, thaw it out, and away you go.
Snap your fingers over
It
it.
doesn't have that, happen that way. You gotta go by that period of time that we're entering into right now, and there are municipalities south of us here that are already posted their roads.
Oh, yeah.
And my approach is to it, if we're gonna post by March 1. I need a directive from you folks that I can carry to the county commissioners and say, okay, here's what they wanna do. And I got a pretty good idea what they're gonna say, is we're gonna post the road.
Yep.
I don't know what, that has a negative effect on your operation, I'm sure, but, they're the ones that signed the check, that paid that $200,000 per mile for paving. And, they question that quite hard.
And they meet tomorrow.
They won't give me a checkbook.
Commissioners meet tomorrow, but the agenda's already.
The commission meeting is tomorrow, afternoon. I don't know if I can get on that or not, but, as far as they're concerned, they don't know I'm up here tonight anyway, so.
Right.
But they will by the time I get hold of them tomorrow morning. I did talk with Dave Spencer and told him that, we had a discussion going on here. He's the unorganized territory administrator for the county, and he's my direct link to the commissioners. So
Yeah.
So worst case costs, 600, is that what I heard?
For
The fair.
the 3 mile?
Yeah.
Well, there's 5 miles of road.
It's 5 miles of road.
No, 5 miles.
Yeah.
1 million, okay.
He was talking about his,
I got you.
yeah.
That was at last year's cost.
Yeah.
So throw a 10%, 20% buffer on that.
And I think that the reason we came is to have the conversation, right?
Yeah,
And,
no.
and we're not trying to make anybody do anything
Yeah.
that they're uncomfortable with, that's not our goal here today. It's to open up the conversation, to understand where everyone is at, get an understanding of where we're at, and then come up with a plan going forward that everyone can feel comfortable with.
I mean, it doesn't do us any good to say, hey, tonight we wanna walk away with the selectmen of the force giving us a paper, but then the county is uncomfortable.
We don't want anyone.
That's no good.
No.
It doesn't work. We
That's not
both
what we
have
want.
to be in agreement
Yeah.
one way or the other,
Pretty much.
which we respect.
Work
Yeah.
together and.
And we understand the commitment that your community has made to fix this road up, right? And it's not our business to.
Trust me, as a taxpayer myself, I really do, I appreciate it, right?
Right,
I'm from a small town myself, so I totally,
I live on a dirt road too,
you know,
and
it's
get it.
well taken, I'm really glad.
Like some of the people in this room, I've
Thank you
sat
for
in
coming.
traffic on that
Yeah.
hill and
Yeah.
watched the road being built, so I know the different
Yeah.
levels, the fabric,
Yeah.
what was coming into the dump trucks, and
Right.
how much hot stuff. No, I saw everything that went into
Yeah.
that road over time,
Yeah.
and I was happy as hell to see that road being built that way.
I mean,
Well,
does
it's awesome.
CMP have like a cap dollar amount that they're, that we're allowed to spend?
That's good, Brad. I like it.
Can you give
Kudos.
us
Yeah.
a budget?
I wish, right, we're.
Yeah.
You brought up the
So I
point
don't
that-
know.
That was last year's number. We haven't put out to bid any pavement this year coming.
Yeah.
The big factor in hot mix pavement is the liquid asphalt. Liquid asphalt and diesel fuel. It has to take place to make this. Then you've got the gravel, the aggregate,
Yeah.
everything. But you're probably looking at a 15 to 20% increase in cost. Fortunately, I don't have to pave anything this summer, I did it last summer. But we've got
Right.
comes around to pave it.
So
We
how
got
do we-
roads that were paved that never should have been paved.
Yeah.
Should have stayed gravel. You
And what-
can grade a gravel road, but once I pave it, you
Yeah.
bury that maybe.
And we are missing an assessor tonight,
Right.
which, I mean, we have a majority of the board here anyway, but.
So in this case, it would delay the project if it was not approved, that if we did not sign this agreement for the road, it's gonna delay the progress of the project in our area.
It would affect it, I
I
mean.
don't know.
So it's gonna delay it into,
We'd have to creatively
We have to have
look at
access.
things on what our access would be up the Deadwater Road. You know, how long that's gonna hold, how long before we go bad, and we, as we know, from running those roads or trying to go fishing somewhere, road looks good and all of a sudden you'd be sitting on your frame.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just,
It's still
they don't have the fabric under like the road.
Is it the, still the bridge issue down there too on the Deadwater Road?
All the
Go
bridges
around it.
have been, the bridges have been replaced. Yeah, the one down below the Ripple Road is warehouses and they do not wanna replace it.
That was one, so that's still,
That's a $500,000 replacement.
that's still,
Yeah.
Still, they still don't want you.
It's off the table with them, yeah. But, you know, you look at different things like that.
One thing that we did in Whitefield, so we're also having these conversations in, Whitefield, Windsor, Alma, on the AC side of the project. And what Whitefield was more comfortable with was a letter from, NECEC saying that we would fix the road. They had a parameter of within 1 year of the project being completed, that would be a warranty of the roads being fixed. That, we would immediately fix any issues on the road, that the road we fixed to pre-construction conditions based on the video that was taken, and one of our field reps went out and did a write-up of each individual road and what he thought might need to be fixed. And we made that letter a commitment to the town of Whitefield, that essentially says that we are responsible for fixing up those roads, and we gave specific roads in a time frame. And so that's also something that we may be able to consider doing for your community. If you don't feel comfortable writing that letter, we can make that letter as a commitment to you.
I think that would be helpful, to
Okay.
have that higher degree of specificity and, you know, detail.
Okay.
And to Katie's point, what was that 1 year post-construction? Is that-
So for 1 year, we would have a warranty that if the fixes that we made, one of the people that came to the meeting asked the question, just a town person said, well, what if one of the things that you fixed there, later, there's a little bit of an issue with it, are you just saying, we already did it, you're done? And, we said, no, we would come back a year later and we would look at it and see what we could do to fix it, to have a more permanent solution if there was something.
Sounds good.
Well, March 1st is Friday.
Right. You know, through this entire project, I have, you know, prior to this, I worked for the state of Maine, I got to retire as a game warden. And then I got involved in, this project, and, I will say, the emphasis on the public relations side is, we want to be a good neighbor, and we want to kind of take that ease. I totally could hear you clearly of, we don't wanna argue about.
Maybe think of Whitefield.
Yeah, we don't want to argue about
This is not gonna be stressful
who
for
damaged
you.
the road. You've got, I mean,
Right.
right, and that's really, that's been really, loud and clear, and I think that's kind of been the gist of, when dealing with Moscow and Anson, that was the gist of, and I think that's why the letter's so vague, is because, Jim, we've had these gentlemen conversations,
I mean, basically,
and overall, like with the town of Whitefield, we had like a handshake agreement, and then they came back around and said, hey, can you give us something more specific to kind of ease that? And that's what Katie's talking about. I think as a taxpayer myself, I don't think that's a lot to ask for, and that that puts some of the onus back onto us, and considering we want to utilize
We wanna go outside of what
the parameters are.
Right.
So, it's definitely something, since this has been happening in Whitefield, I wasn't the field rep down in there doing that, kind of familiar with it. It's definitely, you know, of course, up against that clock part, right? So, we don't wanna rush it, and we wanna make sure your concerns are heard and validated. I mean, they're definitely validated. Your description of the road thing is perfect. I mean, I drive up here all the time, and I just came across 16. There are new bumps in Route 16 that were not there the other day. They weren't there. I mean, my truck went sideways. I'm like, whoa, so totally, the perfect description of what you were talking
I
about.
think I learned something.
Yeah, I mean, really, great
He's
description.
a well of information.
Yeah.
So we hear you, we definitely hear you, and we definitely, yeah, this has been a really good, probably more informational meeting that I've attended as far as, having a lot to chew on.
Yeah, and I don't think we're asking for more, we're just asking
For
fair.
sane and fair,
Fair,
right?
yeah.
So just to clarify one thing, going back to what Katie said with Whitefield, the warranty 1 year post-construction, we're talking about this posted road season. There's the potential we might have next posted road season. So if we draft the agreement in that way, it doesn't just protect you this year, it protects you next
When
year
we're
as
done.
well.
From the final,
Final
Exactly, so
construction.
yeah,
but I
no,
think
that's
not.
perfect,
I
yeah.
think that makes sense.
Yeah,
as well.
another government, another agreement.
Which gets to the question that I did hear you ask this. Does that mean construction goes longer than it is into the summer? I heard you. And it doesn't hinge on the posted roads. I suspect we're gonna go into the early parts of spring into summer up here. And has a lot to do with just what the weather we've had to deal with. Because we're working from south to north right now, chasing the poles. And the helicopter work has been a little bit delayed, which is pushing us on the day I wanna get done up here on Lake Moxie and be out of there. So I can sit on my deck too and peace and quiet.
Yes.
So I echo your concerns on that, and yeah,
One of the
I think
concerns,
Mother Nature's driving that one big.
one of the concerns I have is the time frame that we're looking at. We're talking about posting March 1st, it's like coming right up.
It's a week from Friday though.
Right,
It's
I'm not,
Friday.
I mean, I don't know about us, how long it
That's
would
right,
take
till
Katie to
we-
get that,
right.
you know, that agreement letter drafted. This may be a little, worded a little bit different from that. But then we have the process, particularly I think on Phil's end with the county commissioners, and then have them make a decision. I don't see that all happening before March 1st, so on this end, maybe if we found agreement, maybe we could act that fast, but that's just us. And
Right.
I have to work in partnership with the county, so that's one of my things, it's like, I don't know if, even if the entities that are involved decided to enter into this type of agreement, I don't see how it's gonna happen before March 1st.
And you
Myself.
folks aren't going to the commissioners meeting
The
tomorrow?
commissioners meeting tomorrow is the last one in February.
Right.
The first Wednesday in March will be the next commissioners meeting. So that would be like,
Well, that would be right after the.
that would be like March.
Have you
6th.
folks made any arrangements to try to meet with the commissioners at all?
No, we've been going to the individual towns and
So I'm just curious, because in this particular case, they, you know,
No,
They-
no, it's.
they are
I'm glad that you're
responsible.
here, Phil, now we have the opportunity to meet and talk with you, but no, we haven't had an opportunity to
Right.
go to the commissioner.
I mean, I would be willing to go to the commissioners meeting tomorrow if it was gonna be discussed.
I'm not sure that I can even get on there.
I know, cause the
But-
agendas are
The
pretty,
agenda's out.
But
Yeah.
the Wednesday after, you said it's the
It's the
first
sixth.
Wednesday of
First
March,
Wednesday.
so what would that be?
March 6th.
well, he has to bring it to the commissioner's attention, and then he can let us know when they're gonna address it, I guess, right? Cause I don't even know if
Even,
I'm ready.
even if it's posted March 1st, and the rules are, as long as it is solidly frozen,
Yeah.
you
We
can
can
run
still
them.
work, yeah.
Right. Solidly frozen means there's no visible liquid water on the surface, in the cracks, or in the potential potholes, or on the sidewalk, it is frozen.
Mhm.
This morning, it was frozen.
Right,
Yeah.
It
right,
stayed frozen all day. Okay, so you've got 2 weeks to the next meeting. It's, how do I say this? It's too big an issue to expect the commissioners to absorb it in a an overnight meeting. It just,
Oh,
Right.
no,
it's
of
not,
course
it's
Yeah.
not being
right.
No,
fair
no.
to you,
No,
and it's
I
not
agree
being
with
fair
that.
to them.
Right.
It's the same with us too.
And same with you. We probably should have had this conversation a month ago, or a month and a
Yes.
half ago.
We would
In
have loved to have
January.
done that.
But in January wasn't an issue,
No,
till the red signs started showing up on these
December,
utility poles.
Well, part of it too is that it's our schedule, right? Ordinarily, we would not wanna work through posted road season, but it
Yeah.
has just been the way that the schedule had, just to Jim's point, that we've run into some issues along the
Weather,
way, and it
it's
has
just-
been, and so
Yeah.
at this point,
It's
we're
been
bumping
crazy.
up against a schedule that is
It's
less
the
than
norm.
ideal for everybody.
all right, so we gotta come to some kind of a.
Well, I think this was a good conversation,
was.
and what I can do, and no one's expecting anybody to shake hands and walk away today with an agreement, and I don't think that was our intention was to come here today, meet with everybody, talk it over, hear everyone's concerns. What I can do on my part is, and in case anyone missed, I'm the community relations manager for this project, and I started 2 weeks ago, so.
She worked on it.
I did,
Yeah, she-
I started with the project way
learners.
back.
She's not all that.
So, what I can do is I can pull together the verbiage that we put together for Whitefield. And we can have that ready, no one's expecting anybody to sign that overnight. We can just have it and we can continue to have the conversation. We can also prepare something for the county commissioners for March, if that's feasible. And then we can prepare to present at that particular meeting and be available for conversation, questions, or however you think would be the best way for us to.
Cause
move
it's
forward
not only
with that.
here, Phil, but it's also Concord as well.
Is what,
Concord as well, we need to bring up to the commissioners as well.
the verbiage that you apply to the forks would probably, would be the same verbiage for the county.
Okay, and I
Is it
can,
simple?
can pull that
So does
together.
that mean from March first until the commissioner, county commissioner and Forks has made an agreement, you wouldn't be using the road?
We could as long as it was
It'd be
frozen.
Only by
all
state
posting
law.
Conditions.
Right,
It's posted.
it would
but
be
if it's
posted
frozen-
until we can come to
So
an
then the
agreement.
logging trucks can also use it as.
It would have to be posted until we can come to an agreement.
The logging
I would like to see.
Well, that's why,
the-
a lot of times up here, they post roads,
No.
Right.
and then they write it all like.
Assuming it's all
All logs, all
And then
night long.
go down below town,
As
turn
long as the
phases,
road is
you're-
frozen,
that's
that's
why
why,
they
that's
night
one of
haul.
the things they insist on.
So
Well,
they-
they're
No.
logging trucks all night long,
Is it possible that the
Right,
only
we'll
one-
tell them.
and the
Guys.
road is frozen at night.
Okay, Phil had a point move real
Right,
quick.
oversight.
I would be in favor of posting the road, because there are other people besides you that are using the road.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah, oh, yeah.
we should post the road, yeah,
And
obviously.
so whatever condition exists for you to use, the other person can use also.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever condition, when that condition changes and we see that liquid water, then we can stop them and we're gonna assume that you're gonna stop until you either have an agreement or
Right.
not.
Right.
I know.
You know, we already
I've
got,
had-
we got a couple towns right now that we are moving equipment on the
Yep.
freeze at night.
Yep.
Yeah.
Ones that we haven't talked to, industries and New Sharon and so on, so, but we're doing that right now, you
As
know.
long as.
The guys know the laws and,
Yeah, we won't be using
Oh, yeah.
it without, outside of the
Probably
parameters of
you've
the
never
law.
seen one of these before.
I got them all over where I live.
You have an extra one, right?
So,
Are
it should
your
be at the end
roads
of my month.
posted already?
Down in Litchfield, yeah.
Yeah.
they
Wow.
are.
Oh, yeah,
Oh, yeah, all over the place.
everywhere.
Cornville's already posted.
Wow.
Thank you for coming, Phil. What we'll do is we'll move forward, we'll post the road on the first, and then we'll try to work with the county, whatever the date is.
I'm 75 to 80% sure I can get you on the meeting on the first Wednesday of March.
Okay.
And let us know anything that we can provide in advance, so that you can prepare that conversation, and I can give you my contact
And
information.
I don't mind attending that either. I don't know if Charlie would wanna go, but, or Chris, but we should be represented there too.
Can I just mention before you folks leave, if I can't read your name on the sign-in sheet, cause I looked at it and there's a couple that I might not be able to.
And when I come in the morning and I see you when I'm getting my coffee,
You
you're
can-
gonna call
you
me
can
and you can tell me to
clarify.
give me the right name. And I will give it to you.
Okay,
Alright.
I promise.
I'm still waiting for my business card,
That's
so
fine
I
then.
can
Just write your name clearly for you.
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty clear.
No,
Some weren't, some weren't.
Yeah.
So,
I know that
determined.
guy.
I thank you guys for coming.
Thank you very much
Thank
for
you,
having
folks,
us.
thank you very much.
But I'm
Appreciate it.
nervous like Bill is.
Bill, thank you.
Are we in touch?
I got
I'll
phone
let-
calls.
Yeah, let me know when it's gonna be.
Thank you for getting Troutdale fixed so
I'm too.
fast.
Really appreciate it. Thank you very much.
No, we're not doing it.
Very, very much
I
appreciated.
don't have my business.
Oh, wait a minute. Oh, yeah, we
She's
got covered.
here, that's her. But
I'll make a
I'm-
motion.
Never get minute to be.
That's fine. Call me anytime.
All right, so I'll find out what the date is.
Just give me a call.
Before we move on to the next
I'll
article,
reach out to
we'll
you
make.
some way, I don't have your
Yeah.
contact information.
Give 'em a
I've
shot.
already provided you guys what you need to have the conversation again. We just wanna make sure that you're aware of what's going on, and we can talk through it. Our intention is not to make anyone uncomfortable.
I just happen to have one card left.
Perfect.
Well, Jamie,
You guys need to continue our meeting.
All right, we have a
You're
business
all
meeting,
set.
we gotta keep
Oh, no,
moving.
no,
All right, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care, folks.
We'll meet again, I'm sure.
Drive safe.
yes, you do the same. See ya.
Jamie gets to stay.
Jim, you staying?
I'm
Jamie's
leaving.
here for the
All
long
right.
Come on, this is gonna be a good time.
What?
We still have
Jim,
hours
take that
left.
sign with you if you want.
Yeah, you want me to put it up for you?
Not yet, not yet.
Flycatcher. It's
No.
supposed to be a fish catcher.
See, flycatcher.
Catch
He's a
flies,
great
use
neighbor.
flies to catch
We're neighbors
fish.
with him, we
Be
already
good
know.
neighbors.
But I agree, we wanna get off that road so the coyotes will get better.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
We can leave it.
Hi, Jim.
Thank you, Jim.
You did, yeah, thank you.
I'll give you free coffee at Harry's when you come
Thank you. I'll be there tomorrow morning.
in. So will I.
Thank you.
Bye.
All right, I'd like to make a motion that we, post the Lake Moxie Road on March first, pending, the commissioner's involvement and potential attending of the commissioner's meeting by the board.
I second.
Okay, all in favor? Or two in favor? Okay. Awesome.
Yeah, I think we have to,
Yeah.
protect that road the same way we always have until there's an agreement that everybody's comfortable with. And that's just the way we have to do it until that time, so.
I agree.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm very nervous about that road falling apart as it.
I feel like the problem is though, is like if we don't give them a leeway, at the end, they may just say, well, the heck with you guys, because you guys didn't work with us. So they probably won't fix the road.
That's what I was trying to
That's-
allude to.
Well, Susan had mentioned, she said, there's already quite a bit of damage done to the road.
Yes, there is, that's what I was
And
trying
It
to
like,
doesn't mean
say.
it's
that's
damaged
gonna
by
get fixed
just them,
too, so.
so let's move on, thank
Okay.
you. Let's move on. So Article 2, request for burial plots at Mountainside Cemetery. Sandy will report, June Tatakis is here. Hi, June. Hi. So, the Mountainside Cemetery, as we know, is the town cemetery, and the first request I had was from Barbara Norman, who had a plot assigned for her and her husband, had asked to move her plot at the Mountain Cemetery, okay? And her husband passed away recently, as we know, and she has not had a deed conveyance for that plot. So she wanted to move her plot, and I've got that ready to go for her. About 4 or 5 months ago, June Tatakis' brother, Robert, had asked me if we had any plots available near Ed Hanscom. I don't know if you know Ed Hanscom was up there, right? And I said, well, no, because they were all taken. And when Barb changed her plot, that brought that plot available on that row by Ed available. So that's why she's here.
Can I,
So,
just
yes,
for
go ahead.
clarity, so Barbara and Billy had a plot in the quote, old cemetery,
Correct,
and they don't want it there anymore.
no, they wanna move
They
it to
wanna
the new
move the quote,
section,
the new section,
correct,
and then June would like to, have dibs on that new,
right,
on the one that Barbara and Billy are.
right,
no
which
longer
is
doing.
right near, and June has a lot of good information, very nice.
I'm a little confused because I think I put Eddie in the wrong spot.
You put Eddie in the room?
I think I put Eddie in the wrong, may I come up and show you my paperwork?
Yeah, I don't have the map here, but I can
I
get
have
the
the
map.
map.
Would you like me to go get them out?
Yeah, in the file, you know, in the,
Yeah,
in the vault.
where it is.
My
Eddie
mother
in the
kept
wrong-
awesome records.
Eddie in the wrong spot.
According to this, my family owned, 28 and 29, Ed should be in 30.
Oh, boy.
I put Ed in with John,
Oh,
so,
boy.
Ed went in there, so
So where's 30?
30 is in front. 30's here, we're here,
Oh, yeah, I was gonna say.
we're over here, Ed's here, we're supposed to be here.
Yeah.
So, we still own this one, correct?
Yeah, they didn't put anybody in there,
Nobody's in there.
so why do you need them?
What number is Barb?
Barbara's, she's getting the map.
Oh.
Hold on. She's getting a new map. Yeah. Here's the map. Oh, this one's better.
Okay, I just
No, you're all right,
read this
you're all right.
the other day,
You're all right. So here we are, here's the map,
okay,
and I'm looking at it upside down, but no. Edward, you said, Edward was,
30,
okay, 30 is there,
right, yep,
yeah. And Bill and Bob was here,
okay.
okay? I believe,
Okay, so,
where did I scratch them on? Yeah, 24 and 24A was gonna be Bill and Bob,
okay,
and they wanna go way over here.
okay,
Where's Charlie? Okay, so that opens that up. Where you said your mother has. your mother had
28 and 29, which is
28 and 29.
yeah,
Okay, so that's 4 persons. This is 2, this is 2, that's
Okay.
4. And then you have this one, which is 2. Yep, that's 2.
but that's not really in the same place, is it?
No, I mean, well, you're right behind him. He's right, but is he there? I thought he was over here.
Eddie's in here.
Oh, okay, yeah, I was gonna say, he's further to this, yeah.
Yeah, well, he's this one, yeah.
Do we have the deeds with,
Not the deed conveyances, I have, the next thing would be to check Skowhegan, but, so you think you have 30 and 28?
Well, that's what the paper says.
Oh, that's so careful. So make sure you keep that.
Yes, I will. But we have 28 and 29,
Yeah, 28 and 29,
yep,
and then to have 30.
yep.
Okay. But, so did you have any deed conveyances or?
No, this is the only thing we're gonna have for proof.
Correct, cause I don't know. So, Charlie, sorry. Bill and Barb were gonna be here, and they've opted to come down here.
Okay.
June's mother had 28 and 29 and 30, and Ed Hanson was gonna have 30. You said.
Right.
But Ed is here.
He
Ed
said
is
back in 28.
Yeah.
And nobody's in 29 or 30 right now?
No, these are full.
Okay, okay.
This is
okay.
Mom, Dad, Ed and John.
Okay,
This
and
is
then-
full.
And then this one's
But
empty.
I didn't realize that this existed, so actually, this, me and Robert can go.
Right, so you don't need another.
We don't need another
Okay.
one, but,
is that close enough? Who's in this one? Is that,
Oh, that's right over here. Oh, year to date.
And so what about what did Barbara and Bill wanna do?
Come down here,
Yeah,
which I have it all prepared for us to.
yeah, I
memorize
think
and
that
send
we
along.
should accommodate Barbara and
Cause
Bill
he's
if
gonna
they
wanna be
move-
buried here shortly.
If they,
Okay.
wanna move their spot.
Yeah. I think I should go to the Somerset County of Deeds and see what's deeded to that. I don't know. This is the only thing I could find in the cemetery records, and I mean, I don't know.
This is the only thing I had.
Yeah, from,
It was 2000 after John died, we needed a place to put him in the ground.
yeah, no.
That's when we bought, my
So,
family bought it for
so
back.
back in the day, your mother and father owned the land.
No, my grandfather.
Your grandfather.
Odd
owned it.
Hanska. He is buried up there also.
And Danny McDonald was her uncle.
He married my aunt Brenda McDonald, who was my mother's
So
sister.
technically, Robert's all set, and you're all set.
We could go here, yes.
Yep, you could, yep. And you still do it, so you don't really need.
But what I'm thinking is, if
As long
Robert
as
takes
there's a
this
spot
one.
up there somewhere for
Can I
me,
take
I'm
that one?
good.
We could just let you blow in the wind.
No, we just don't, we already have 30, that's the way it works.
Can I take a picture of that?
That's brilliant.
Certainly, you can take a picture of
Or
anything you need to
Susan,
take
can you
pictures.
take?
It goes into a
pictures of
river
this?
that goes into the sea.
Thank you, thank you.
I mean,
As
what-
long
what-
as-
so that-
based on
As
the
long as
launch,
we get in that
we went
cemetery,
very,
that, on
And-
that
and
side.
you are there?
I'd never
Yeah.
been there before,
But I'm
never been
questioning
to
why
town, and they're
you
like,
don't
you wanna
have
be buried here, I'm like,
You should have.
why? I got no
I didn't
connection
find
whatsoever
it anywhere.
to any of this, I'm
So
like,
what I need
no,
to do is go to the Somerset County
you know, and
records and find out what's deep in that cemetery.
Yeah,
I think I need to do that.
yeah. Cause I do not have a deed.
No, since I can't find that original file anywhere, so, yep, okay. 'Cause I don't-
I
And
didn't
there's
find
not-
that.
And there's nothing, and that will help clear up the ownership of those lots. too.
Yeah, yeah.
So what I could do is I can investigate since in time.
And actually, my grandfather and my uncle had, there's 2 spots in that, which is in the middle of the cemetery, they were buried years ago.
Yeah. So,
But no, we can go, 30 is out.
and the good news is we got all kinds of brand new places just in case. So you guys probably should think about that too. You know, and it would be smart to get your conveyances and your deeds and get them in place.
At a later date, not at a meeting.
No, I know, I'm just thinking, you know, whatever, as we move along in life, you
Nope.
never know.
Understood.
You never know, it was not a
Yep.
dictated kind of thing. Okay, so,
I'll go wait for my paperwork, thank you.
yes, and June, I will get back to you on
Yep.
that. But, as far as we know, you're good.
I'm good, okay.
That's good, I bet Robert will be happy.
Yes, very happy.
Cause I felt bad that I didn't have any place up there for him. Okay, so Charlie, take a look at this. This is a document that I've prepared for the conveyance of the lot to William and Barbara Norman, okay? Typically, it's done for $1
if you're a, resident,
in taxpayer, yeah. All the conveyances that I have on file say $1, even though they were Leroy Kennedy and he was, right, he was he was not a resident at the time.
yeah, I'm fine with this.
Okay.
Do I need to sign anything right now?
Right,
Is this an official thing, or is this a copy?
Right now, of course, Chris isn't here, but we have the majority of the board, it could be finalized tonight. I just wanted to make sure that we could get this done for Barbara, so that she'd have it ready, cause she's not ready to bury him yet, but
No,
she would feel
agree.
great if it could be finalized.
Yeah,
So,
I have no issue with that.
and Susan's taking a picture, but,
So this is just a copy?
that's a copy, and I've got the original, and I don't wanna
Is that like for
go.
my records, or do you want it back?
I'd like it back.
Yeah.
You know, these conveyances live in this folder, I mean, in this,
No, what,
in the file, in the vault, okay? And it says, the Forks Instruments of Distribution, which I had no idea what that was. How would you know?
this
Very
sounds a-
interesting.
sounds
I
a
mean,
little
Judith
fancy.
goes, you know where it is, it's in that book, and I go,
Instruments of
that
distribution.
doesn't mean a thing to me, I don't know.
Terminology.
I don't even know who came up with
Probably
that.
understand afterwards.
I don't know. I don't know.
So,
I said, okay, Judith, that's good, good you confirmed me. Thank you, good she, Oh, you gave it to her already and she
Yeah,
left?
yeah,
She left?
yep.
Didn't say goodnight.
That's not very nice.
Just set it right in there, thank you. So I guess we're ready to finalize this, Susan, which is you. You're gonna put in the dates, then you're gonna seal it. You're gonna send 2 assessors here. It says state of Maine. Oh, that's,
That's the notary,
Yeah.
so,
okay.
so when I talked to MMA today,
Yes.
if I am notarizing my own signature, that I can't do that. So I am not, I have to read this before I
Okay.
agree to notarize
Okay,
and sign it as the clerk. So,
okay, so why don't we table
Yeah,
it for now?
exactly, yeah,
Okay,
that sounds good.
and we can finalize it.
But we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
I can at least sign it as a clerk, and then if we need to notarize it with somebody else, we can do that too.
True, no, that's
Yeah.
true, I mean, there's different places where we could go.
Yeah, there are a few
Right.
other people that
Yeah, and no Laura Seaman.
All right, well, we took care of June and we're taking care of Barbara, I think this is
All
awesome.
right, did we, make any decisions while I was out?
No, I was just getting the document prepared, but we're not ready to finalize the document. So I make a motion that we, table the document until we find, you know,
Until reviewed.
until pending further review. But,
I second.
all right, but we agree that it's okay for Barbara to move her plot, all that fun stuff,
Yeah,
okay?
I agree in concept, yes.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
And we can
Is that
finish
part
this.
of the, is that part of the motion that Barbara's gonna be able to move? Or
Right,
is it,
She's moving her plot and we're gonna finalize it as soon as possible.
okay, so motion to table document until reviewed and to allow,
Right. Right.
to move
Right,
previously.
he's gonna wanna, it's gonna need to be buried, yeah.
I probably should have plot numbers to make that. a little bit more
She's
easier.
moved from plot 24 and 24A to 11A.
Move from 20, sorry,
Okay, no problem, no, sure. 24 and 24A to A11. That's the new section.
okay, to just one plot,
Well, it's a double plot for her and
Okay.
her alone.
okay.
William. It's a lovely place,
Okay, perfect, I get it.
okay? So, Jamie, let me move, that takes care of article number 2. I just wanna jump ahead to, new business and let Jamie speak for a minute, if everybody doesn't mind. I make a motion that we move, to Article 14.
Can we go back to it, or do we wanna do all of it? Cause I have a couple of things for 14, but I don't wanna bog Jamie down or what this doing. Can we go back to it?
We can go back to it, yeah, I just wanted,
Yep, no,
because
that's good.
Susan has to take the notes and stuff. So you make a second motion, Charlie, to go to 14?
Yeah.
I go to, yeah, okay, all in favor, there we go. Jamie, thank you. She's gonna update us on the, LED streetlight conversion, yeah, thank
So,
you.
My name's Jamie St. Pierre. I work for Central Maine Power. I'm not necessarily affiliated with any CEC other than I help with community relations. So I'm the key account manager for the Forks. I'm the key account manager for all the municipalities and unorganized territories in our Farmington, Skowhegan service center. So all the way over to New Hampshire and then all the way up to Jackman.
Wow, you're busy.
And I work with the very large accounts that we have, so any of the commercial, Moose River Lumber being one of those, for example. So I came today as a good opportunity. I sort of piggybacked on them coming up to introduce myself, put a face to some names, and then Sandra asked me to just talk about the LED light conversion that the town has signed for. So there are, I just grabbed some numbers before, there are 21 conversions, 5 removes, and 2 new installs that will be going in. Tim and Cade out of the Jackman office are the 2 line workers that will be doing the work, so they'll be changing out the heads from a high pressure sodium fixture to an LED fixture, and adding 2 new lights on Lake Moxie Road.
Right.
I believe we do have to hang a new transformer for one of those, and we can run secondaries for another one. During the transformer shortage, we were running secondaries further than typical, but I think we will hang a transformer, because I think they're just 1 pole and the next pole down, if I recall correctly. So, Tim or Cade, one of them has been very sick, and so he's been out. So we need 2 men to hang a transformer. 1 man can change out the lights, the heads themselves, but I did notice on my drive up today that they're still yellow, which means they're still a high pressure sodium. The LED will be a much whiter color. The equivalent wattage, it's just a brighter pattern, so it may appear brighter, but it is the equivalent.
Looking forward to it.
Yes, and so we will get those changed out. We have all the inventory in Jackman. It came up, I think I messaged Sandra about a week ago.
You did.
That the inventory had arrived. Sometimes it takes a long lead time for us to get those materials in. Came up to Jackman, and so they were gonna start working on it, I thought this week, but again, I haven't seen any. So I'm hoping this week or next week we will have that done. So it's not a lot of lights, it shouldn't take very long at all, a couple days, as long as there's no emergency calls.
Hopefully a difference in our bill.
Yes, and the bill will go down. So as soon as what happens, the process that happens is the work orders are created, the guys go out. Typically, we work with On Target to do these type of installs, but where there aren't that many in this town, and it's, we're not in a storm season right now, like.
Don't say that.
The guys in Jackman are able to do that work, so, they'll be doing that, I'm hoping again this week or next week to get that completed. Yeah, go ahead.
I just wanna mention, does that include the photo cells, because you have a couple of.
Yes, the photo cells are all replaced during that
Okay, good.
process, yeah. So those are all replaced, we have the same number of photo cells as the heads. And once those are changed out, we backdate the billing to the date they were changed out. So you may get an invoice that shows high pressure sodium, but we'll reverse and correct that. It just depends on when that falls because of the cycle. But be rest assured that it will fall to the day that those were installed.
That's
Yeah.
part of your bill problem, is you got some that stay on 24/7.
Could be. You'll notice when they're done, David, because there's gonna be a new light on both sides of the water pole. The one by Ernie DeLuca is gonna be gone, and then putting the next pole and the next pole to light up.
Hill?
Yeah, no, well,
You know,
towards
Yep.
town. So you'll notice that right away. And they're gonna take down the 2 on Troutdale Road. One by Moxie and the one by Judith's driveway, those are
Yep.
coming down. Cause they're on private property and we shouldn't be paying for them,
The frosties will be easier to spot.
so. That's
I like the
another way.
surprise.
But, thank you, Jamie.
Yeah, absolutely, so those will be changed out. I just wanted, you mentioned the lights, so they are built on a dark hour calculator, so it's a calculator based on how many dark hours there are each month, so it adjusts and changes, so sometimes you'll see so many kilowatt hours in one month and a different amount in another month. It's billed by units, so however many units of a 70 watt or a 100 watt. So it shouldn't matter if they're on all day. However, if they are on all the time, they're not coming on, they're flickering, let me know and we'll get them changed.
I usually do
That
it.
shouldn't
A
happen,
couple drive-bys,
yeah.
in this, like every other month, I'll check it,
Yeah,
check them.
if you ever have that, you can let me know. There is an online reporting tool, but if it's just as easy to send it to me with a list of the ones that are out, we can grab those really quickly. The one thing with the LEDs I will say is with the high pressure sodiums, we could change out just the bulb itself. the LED, the whole head has to be changed out because of those little, I don't know all about what's
Yeah.
internals of those, but you cannot just change one of those little LED
Yeah.
elements, it has to be the whole.
Whole unit, good to know.
Then they're a little bit smaller, physically looking, but let us know if you get any feedback from the residents that, you know, it's not working, the light's
Not
too
bright
bright,
enough,
or it's not bright enough.
Yeah,
We have different wattages that we can reduce, we can bring up. We can also shield it if it's not the right light, throwing the right light pattern, we can shield it.
it was interesting what we found on our inventory presently. It was like, yeah, I wonder how that light got put on a selectman's dooryard. I wonder. So it's
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, so we'll take those ones down,
Yeah.
they'll come off of billing. And, yeah, if you ever have any concerns or questions for me, please don't hesitate to let me know. I'm a point of contact for the town
Correct.
to get you whatever you need within central main power.
Be careful.
I know, open that Pandora's box.
Lucky
right?
you're too many of us sitting here. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you have any questions for
No,
me?
that's good, I appreciate it, I'm just tickled it's finally gonna come to fruition.
Yeah, and that will lower the bill significantly. Yeah,
That'll help.
awesome. Well, thank you very much for having me.
All right.
Having
Thank
me
you.
speak.
Thank
Have a
you.
good evening. I'm gonna use your restroom, get on.
Yes, go right ahead.
Good night.
So.
Hopefully you don't have too long of a drive home.
I live in Farmington, so it's a good, but it's
Good
not
little
bad. I
road.
love the drive. We go to
15
Jackman often.
Watch
so.
the animals.
Bye.
Yes, have a good night.
Drive safe.
That moves us on to the tax collector's report, and Charlie, right here. Article 3, tax collector's report. This will serve as a tax collector's report for the February 20th, 24 assessors meeting. 2023 real estate taxes outstanding as of 2/19/24 is $30,598.66. Receipting has been slow, as is normal for this time of year. Cash flow should resume a more normal tempo by mid-March. The Forks Plantation awaits state of Maine revenue from LD 290 reimbursements due to budget shortfall. A supplemental state budget is being submitted for an additional $26,500,000 in funding to cover the submitted reimbursements from municipalities statewide. Once approved by the legislature, the balance of any reimbursement payments will be completed and sent to the towns. Amount received to date for the reimbursement is $784.93. Remaining amount to be collected is $581.02 for our town. Sincerely, Judith Hutchison, tax collector, the Forks Plantation.
I make a motion, we accept the, tax collector's report as written.
I second it. All in favor? There we go. Thank you. Which brings us to Article 4, treasurer's report.
Okay, so the current balance as of today, the 20th, is $166,079.74. There aren't really any notable outstanding checks. There are some recent deposits. They're actually all quite small. The last tax bill deposit was actually today. It was $363.73, so it was just a couple of small ones that came in. We had a few, well, we had an ACH come in that I believe is a tax payment, so I have to investigate that. It was $835.80, and I think that matches.
That is a tax payment.
I think it is, yeah. And then we've had like very small inflows, like a $20 main stabilization, like a snowmobiling.
So that was the stabilization, the monies that she's waiting for from the state, that was $20 additional,
Okay.
so, yeah.
And then, the warrant which I brought the preview of for February, AP is $25,282.36, so, after that warrant, it would bring our, balance to around $140,797.38. So, I did bring the preview with the bills of the February
Right.
payments, and I also brought the warrant, that was the online payment that I just need Charlie's signature, so.
Okay, awesome.
That was for the 1099s, right?
That was for the
Correct.
reorder of 1099 since we've had that ongoing issue.
Evan, do you have the balances of all the accounts? Sandy wanted me to put those in the last month, and so
I can give those, I don't have them on me right now, but I can go,
that would
They
be
should
fine.
be,
Yeah.
I'll revise it later.
they
but-
should be noted in the minutes.
Yeah,
yeah, that's easy.
okay.
So, yeah, so that is the,
Warrant review.
yes, and all the bills that kind of go with that.
Yep.
There was one bill in there that, was in the February payables that was due in January, but it wasn't in the January payables, so.
Was that the Lucas, part of the Lucas thing, or?
No,
Lucas
it
Strike?
was a insurance payment,
Oh, okay,
Right.
the MMA,
yeah.
okay.
It said it
I
was
see it
due in
right here,
January,
yeah.
but it was in
Due
the
January
February
31,
payables.
yes.
So, there's nothing I can do about that.
No. Cause you didn't have it.
Okay. Anybody looks good to me, Norman?
Yeah, thank you. I know there was the upside of these, except, I don't know if Charlie signed the two that I put in the other day.
The berries one?
I
was the
pointed them
berries
out.
one?
No, he didn't.
I put it
So,
right.
initial.
The berries and then the tax, main revenue service one.
Yeah.
I put stickies on the ones that needed more.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
They came in.
I went through them pretty thoroughly, and I did hit the berries one today.
Oh, you did? Okay, good job.
I saw
Okay.
that. I took
So
the
I think
sticky
that's
off.
fine. That's all we have for now, which, come on, you, let's put this back. Which,
Yeah, that's you.
I can. Okay, so if we sign, not the preview, oh, you ever got the final, so we have to sign the final one, the preview one, but the other.
Right, I will print the final warrant with checks, yeah, I can do that.
Okay, cause that's when we
Yeah.
then you write the checks after we do the final warrant. There you go.
The final warrant comes with the checks.
Right, it does.
Yeah.
But we do have two signatures on it. Good job. We're getting down there. What is it?
Still cold out, Chuck?
February.
I'm getting home,
Not yet. We're getting that ready. I appreciate it. And we'll add the count balances to the minutes later. Oh, they didn't take these papers, and I think they need them.
They probably should have taken those papers.
I'll give them to
I'm
you.
sure they've got photocopies.
I think those
of
are
that.
just copies that
Okay.
they give out.
No, they're
I
not
think
just
those are
copies.
examples of what
I
they've done
can
with
bring
other.
it to Berry's tomorrow.
No,
Yes,
I'll
do
take,
that.
no, I'll take care of it, so.
I think that's the smart choice.
I,
Jim's coming in, he said tomorrow morning.
I know, Susan, but I can take care of it, that's fine. The checking account balances after all of the warrant is $140,738. It feels good to pay the bills on a monthly basis, doesn't it?
Sure does.
Yes. Okay,
That's all I
I
have.
make a motion, we accept the treasurer's report as reported.
yeah, I second it, all in favor? We're in. Thank you, Evan, I appreciate that. I just wanna add to Evan's report that the auditor is coming back on Thursday this week.
9 AM?
Yeah, 9 AM on Thursday, Karen is coming back from RHR Smith. So, okay,
And hopefully we move that forward.
yeah. Town clerk report, Susan.
Not that much going on here this month, but, everyone registered their dogs, some online, some in person. It worked out well, and as far as elections goes, I'm up to date on everything. I am missing a poster that I'm supposed to be putting on the handicap machine there. They said that they sent me a big yellow poster that says, you know, accessible, voting here or something like that.
Yeah,
I don't know where it is, so when I emailed my response in terms of, the completion of the, express vote testing, I noted that at the bottom, and they, sent me an email saying that they received the proof that I did the testing, but they didn't tell me where that, mailing is, so if it doesn't come, it's gonna be the old sign, I guess.
yeah, anytime anything comes in, I do let you know, so if I see
Right,
something,
yeah,
I will
and
let you
the
know.
last envelope was only this big, so
Yeah.
it's not that poster. I don't know
Yeah, I don't know.
where that is, but
Okay.
maybe it will come in the jiffy bag that's,
But there was a poster up last election there, right? That
yes,
sort
but
of like
this is,
what
it
it
says
is and-
brand new, anyway, it's
Yeah.
supposed to
It's
be a
pretty-
new poster.
but not
for-
Probably
available
change the
yet.
color of it or
No,
something.
it's brand new, but it's not available yet.
Are you all ready for the primary, Susan?
Yes, I have my, clerks
Right,
selected and they're ready to be here, so yes.
right, and the voter registrar, does she say she's going to be?
I don't know.
Okay.
I really haven't, I could.
Well, I'll check with her, I didn't know if she'd touch base with you first.
I think the last that we spoke, she said that she could be there, but, if she can't be, it doesn't, you know, I
Right.
don't expect a huge, flow of people on that day, to be
I'll check with her
perfectly honest.
tomorrow and I'll get back to you,
Okay,
cause that way, cause I mean, you're definitely the backup for that.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's fine.
No.
Yeah.
Good?
I'm done, yeah,
I make
that's
a
it.
motion to accept the clerk's report as reported.
I second it, all in favor? Very good.
Let's move this right along.
Let's try.
Agreed.
Let's try, alright, sand and salt. Luckily, things slowed down, Mother Nature slowed down a little bit. What do I have? Charlie, I know I have a copy for you to look at, but Phil didn't want his copy, so. This is Andy's figures to date, so, let's see, I'll do this slow for you, Susan, okay?
Yep.
So, we have used 202.75 tons of salt, so far. The
In
com-
February?
No, to
Oh.
date, so that's November,
Okay.
October through
Okay, yep,
now. The county has used 124.25 and we have used 78.5, okay? We have had delivered, salt delivered, we've had 170.09 tons of salt delivered. So if we've used 202.75, that leaves us with a deficit of 32.66. So we're about a load of salt behind what we've used. Is what that means. We had a total budget of 18,275 that we voted on to spend on salt. And to date, we have spent 13,282.16. So we budgeted for 7 loads of salt, we've had 5 delivered. I don't know if the state's gonna want us to do 2 loads now, or if they wanna wait, so I'm gonna check with the state to see when
Like
they,
1 and 1.
yeah, see when they want us to do the other 2 loads. I'm thinking we're gonna make the 7 loads, I don't think we're gonna need any more, I hope, but it depends on Mother Nature, so,
I haven't certainly talked with Andy,
right.
but it would appear to me that the amount of salt that is being laid on that road this year is quite a bit more than has been in the past. Well,
Well-
for the conditions, I mean, am I wrong, am I right or am I wrong? I'm just trying to figure out if, I mean, it's hard to compare, you know, year to year because every year is different, you know, the weather is always different, so I just don't know if it seems to be pretty much on par with how much we would have used.
It's a little heavier than what we used last year. I could give you the numbers to compare the years if you'd like me to.
Well,
I don't
I don't know if I need to necessarily compare, but I think we do need to make sure that if the overall yearly salt usage, because of a change in contractors has gone up, then we need to budget for that next year. That's all.
Right, no, and
Because
that,
I think we budgeted based on, kinda on Sammy's numbers, and Andy is generating different numbers, so we just gotta remember to budget for that.
I mean, we budgeted for 7 loads, and I'm thinking last year we did 6, but, you know, and you never know about the weather, so.
No, you don't.
I mean, I don't mind comparing those numbers for you at some point if you like.
Okay.
But yeah, no, you do have to watch over it. New contractor sometimes can be heavy-handed. I don't know, I think he's had a lot of trouble with Mother Nature, is what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I mean, I believe you. I mean, I'm
No,
not expert on this.
Andy's been great giving me the numbers and working with me, and
Well, that's good.
I'll check with the state, but I would like to make a motion to have one load delivered if they ask me to.
I second the motion.
Okay. I make a motion that we order maybe 1 load if the state wants me to. Charlie seconded, all in favor? Okay. I just wanna have that in place. Doesn't mean I'm gonna order it right away, but if they ask me to, then. Cause what happens is the state has a shed and they try to keep a balance of salt.
Right, you don't wanna overload it.
Right, so, alright, thank you for that. And that's where we stand on the salt. Which,
Do you have those numbers written down? Or, I mean, I can,
yeah, you wanna pass that to him? I don't know if you can read my pen, but if you can, I can, it's written beside it what each figure is, I believe.
You wanna make a copy for that? I don't know.
I'll just listen to the video. It's the thing, I can't, you know, like, I see the used to date, but what the county used and what we used, and
Yeah.
we were throwing numbers and.
I can do that real quick if you need to.
That's fine, I'll just listen.
The
to
county
it.
has used 124.25,
124.25.
right, and we've used 78.5. So the county with another mile of road has got more product being put on the road, basically, is what that demonstrates, but. And a reminder, at the end of the year, we get that money back from the county.
And
So,
the deficit was,
32.66, so we're like a delivery of salt behind.
okay,
And that was up until, what was the date of the last? 2/19, so that was yesterday, okay? All right, so that's the status of the salt. Let's see. Article 7, acceptance of assessors meeting minutes, January 16th, which I have right here, Charlie, if you need them.
Oh, I repeat them.
Okay,
I have,
have we got a motion?
I make a motion, we accept the meeting, the minutes from the assessors meeting in January.
All right, I second it, all in favor? Look how fast we got to that.
woo-hoo.
We got to that. Awesome. Article 8, the Moxie Dam. I make a motion that we table this article. Because Chris is
I
not.
second.
And all in favor?
Nice.
Okay, there we go. Okay. Remote participation policy. You must have a printout, Charlie, I don't
Oh,
know.
yeah.
Which is right here. It's a copy there if you guys wanna look at it.
It's perfect time to talk about it.
I know. On the, public input page, public input and participation policy.
Mhm.
There was, a line that said, a person who is not a voter in the town may speak at the meeting only at consent of 2/3 of the voters present.
Mhm.
That's really valid for a in-place meeting, like at a town meeting.
Mhm.
It wouldn't really be applicable if somebody was on a computer to, because you only have the board here, you don't
Right.
have the body of your taxpayers or residents here.
Right,
So, I mean, they'd be able to participate, like we have that article at the end of the, agenda.
so, okay, so the 2/3 thing, which is
Right,
a key piece of participation in a, town meeting,
right,
just avoid that for this, and that if they
Right.
are a,
if you just take that
like
out,
a non-voting member, and they wanted to speak during that public comment, then they let them,
right.
I'm
So
fine
it
with
says,
that.
public questions and comments are limited
I'm
to
fine
3
with that, but
minutes.
it's gotta be about town business.
Right, and
You
you
know, I don't
have
want
that
somebody
there.
from whatever, coming in here and just starting on some agenda of their
Yeah,
own, you
so
know?
if we just take that out,
Okay,
That, the whole 6,
about the,
Roman numeral 6.
I don't know if
public
it's
input.
6, no, we're on the he had a public,
I had two, in order to be able to have a remote participation policy, we needed to have a public participation policy.
Correct.
Because you can't have one without the other.
Right, so
And
public
so we're
input is
talking
number
about the
6.
public,
well, no, it's not,
no,
yeah, but no,
no, that's
Susan,
different.
hand her
Okay.
this, hand her that. Hand her that,
Yeah.
Joan.
This is.
That's a
the-
printout from your email.
Okay,
Right.
okay.
That, I
So
can't find mine
eliminating
right
B,
now.
we're eliminating B,
All right.
eliminating B.
Yeah, the
Okay.
2/3 requirement. I just brought that over because that's what a requirement from the town.
Well, that's
meeting.
fine, but I mean, wouldn't be really applicable in that kind of thing.
I'm actually all for letting the public speak as long as it's about town business.
Right,
Okay,
and
can
then-
I'm not clear now, we have this policy and this policy, are we saying this was MMA's and this is ours?
No,
They're both
there's two
ours.
parts to the policy, Susan, there's two parts to the policy.
Okay, this is the public input part of it.
Public input,
Got it.
participation,
Which has to do
and
with
then-
that section at the end of our assessors meeting where the public can
Okay.
comment. That's what that policy is.
Right.
In order to have a remote participation policy, you have to have a policy that specifies,
How the public can input.
right,
Right.
right,
For
because,
example,
again,
this
legally,
person-
just so everybody knows,
Like this.
legally,
Yeah,
legally,
Right, no,
the
you're right.
assessors do not have to allow any public input at those meetings. I think to do that would be a really bad policy. But that's just legally, you don't have to. So if you're going to admit, it has to be like, okay, we're gonna allow public input and this is sort of the parameters.
Yeah.
So is what it gets down to.
Sounds
so.
good.
Okay.
So that was my concern on that
Okay.
one. Then, on the meat of the policy, which would be the,
Remote participation policy, yeah.
proceedings policy, there you go. It does say under article number 2, the public body named above may meet solely by remote means if an emergency or urgent situation requires that all members of the body meet only by remote methods. So, I mean, that would presume that, heavens sakes, we have another pandemic or.
I think that's what this,
Or whatever, I mean,
that's what that paragraph is
but
all
nowhere
about.
does it state that the monthly meetings will be televised, you know what I mean? Will be put out there for the remote participation for the public. It doesn't say that anywhere in this,
Is that the intent?
agenda.
Always have it.
I mean, you can have this policy in place, but nowhere does it say, we're gonna be televising each meeting, right?
Well, no,
It's
but
not
that's,
required.
it's not that we're televising it, I mean, it's, people can participate.
Right, we're not doing it. This policy doesn't put that in place, this policy just says if we cannot all be together, then we have a remote policy.
Right,
and we can vote, and we can participate, and so forth.
Mhm.
There's nothing in here that says anything about
The public.
the public being involved in every meeting. And I think that was a concern that you might have had, or we might have all had, that people wanna be at home and be able to still be present, even if they're not able to talk, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that is not provided for in here anywhere.
Not public input here, that's not part of it?
Hold
The
on,
very last
which one?
paragraph,
The which one?
number 6, Roman numeral number 6, if the body allows or is required to provide an opportunity for public,
Okay.
the body will accept written comments from the public prior to the meeting, which will be read at a subsequent meeting. The body will utilize a computer microphone available at the in-person location. Anyway, you guys can read it.
And I don't know if I'm comfortable with every meeting. I mean, we only have one meeting a month, and
Well, you know, the thing is about all of this is, you know, my, motivation for all this is because Chris, you stated pretty clearly early on that it would be very difficult for him to attend every assessor's meeting. And I think that Chris Hugh represents an important demographic you know, in our community. And so I think that it's important that we do the best we can to try to facilitate him being
Right.
included. That's my motivation.
Yeah, I agree.
And, you know, of course, if, you know, but I don't know if any of us can guarantee that we're gonna show up at every meeting. And so it covers not only Chris, but for any of the rest of us.
true.
But
And the thing
you
is
took a
that
job.
you could just say, you gotta show up.
That too.
You
could
took a
just say the
job.
policy is, you
You
gotta
have to
show up,
be available.
you know.
I'm sorry,
But
that's
again,
my
that's, you know,
opinion.
you know, to be, you know, I mean, that's one,
Well, we can-
possible route that you could take, is you have an attendance policy, and if
Yes.
you're not there,
You took a job.
you know, but that's why I've been doing this, and some of the finer points of it, which you're bringing up, and legitimately so, are a little bit confusing to me,
Me too.
particularly right now, because then I have to sit down and I have to read things like this, sometimes 4 or 5 times.
All right, no, it's
To
okay.
understand them, and I thought I had, but, one of the problems I'm having right now is I have like I don't have the right
You've got a
copies,
different version
yes.
and,
It is good to have
I
a
have them right here,
remote
John.
policy.
I'm sorry.
Thank you. I have the one I was working on, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, God.
And
Well,
so,
I mean, we can table it to next meeting.
the written
I
thing and
just
all that,
thought we
I
wanted
struck
to
out of
move
that,
along.
so this is the one right here.
Right.
Well, I
So-
think initially the problem was that Chris was participating via the telephone. And
Right,
you can't do that legally
Right.
unless the public is
Whenever,
able to do that too.
right, and they have to have
And they
an
couldn't.
equal balance.
Right,
Yeah,
right, it
so
has
I
to
think
be.
that's how this all got
And that's
started.
fair.
yeah.
It's totally fair.
Right,
Yeah, you're right, Sharon.
I think it's the law.
So maybe under Article 2, the body,
There's a statute.
the public body named above, or any single member of the body, so it doesn't, you know. I don't know.
It's number 2.
But is this gonna become a loophole where the assessors don't have to come to the meeting?
No,
Well, I would think
no.
that we would wanna address that separately and
Mm.
say that they have to be here unless there's circumstances that say you
That,
can't, but if
that
you're a
that is,
repeat
that
offender.
is in this policy, it talks about.
Yeah, we don't want people
criteria.
always doing it.
No,
it does, when a medical condition of the member or family makes attendance impractical when unexpectedly outside the municipality.
Yeah,
Those are the,
And then, if an emergent, medical or family emergency
yeah, I don't,
occurs.
yeah. I mean, we can always reschedule meetings too, but that, you know, we've had.
Well, I mean, we don't
that.
have to adopt
Over the
it, but as
years.
long as we do, if Chris isn't here, then he can't participate, so.
Exactly.
I think we have pretty good motivation to try to get this.
No, I
sorted
know,
out.
and that's why.
Or develop a policy that, you know, you gotta be here.
This is a
I know.
worthwhile endeavor, just to have this policy, I think it's smart.
Oh, yeah, I'm not saying it's
It's
not smart.
important to have the assessors present one way or the other. So if Chris, I mean, if he can't make the meetings, then we have to adopt this policy. If he can't make the meeting, then he,
We also have
in
to
my
address that
opinion, he
issue.
needs to find,
Well,
whatever.
all right, so,
Well, it
Has to be a
states the
policy.
reasons why you can be absent from the meetings, it states the
Yeah,
reasons that are
it gives pretty
accepted.
clear that it's just not like, oh, I don't
I don't feel like going.
yeah, I don't wanna
Well,
go.
no, he did in his email today, though. He said that something unexpected came up and,
Yeah, and it makes provisions for that, and it's, you know,
right,
Okay.
but it can't be 9 meetings out of 12.
so could,
No, and it hasn't been.
Yeah.
So,
so Sandy, could you
saying-
just for me, state specifically to the extent that you can, what your concern about, section 2 is?
well, it's pretty broad, and I think it'd be fine.
I mean, I don't see, again, that whole piece isn't even gonna be applicable unless we end up in another pandemic situation.
That's why I was thinking,
You know.
if we could say if only one person can't be, then they can participate right by remote means, and the public will be allowed to too, you know what I mean?
Right,
It's not, if, we're not gonna have remote meetings if all 3 of us can't be here only. Sometimes one of us can't be.
well, that's what
That's what
that
I was
is, though, is all 3 of us can't be here
Right.
because of an isolation order or another pandemic, that we can have a remote meeting,
You can still
And
conduct.
still
the meeting.
effectuate stuff.
Right,
yes.
Yeah.
right,
That makes sense.
okay.
I think it's in there for that reason.
Yeah, this is a template that MMA put forward.
No,
and so-
thank you for getting that, Susan.
Yeah, I was gonna
No,
say,
I
this seems like
appreciate
it's pretty standard
Well, I'm
language.
just
Yeah.
saying
I
that,
think-
that if they thought it was important to put it in there, I'm not sure that we
You should
should
take it
just
out, right.
scratch it.
All right, so why don't
Right.
we,
Right.
just amend that one and leave this as is, and then we'll put it on the docket for the next meeting.
But is that other, thing in there so that you could have a town meeting?
You cannot have town
Remotely?
meetings
No, no,
remotely.
this is just
Okay,
remote
I
meeting
thought
of
that's
the
why that
assessors.
was there,
Yeah, you
okay.
can't do it, because you get
No,
this.
I thought that's why that was applying to
Was-
the
No,
town
no,
It was
meeting.
just-
because people can't vote remotely, I mean,
No,
if it's
no,
a town
exactly.
meeting,
Well, that's okay to amend, but not this, so I
But
think, all
why is
right,
that in there then in the first place?
it was collected, it's part of the process to get the thing to fruition, get it to final. You gotta bring information in and decide
No,
how
I
it's gonna.
understand that, but why was that information included initially?
Charlie brought that to the table, I don't know.
Was it part of the original thing you got from
MMA
them?
template.
I
No,
very minimally modified this.
yeah,
Right.
no, it's
Right,
fine.
so it was in there for some reason,
Yes.
but we don't know why.
Right,
Well, because,
I would agree.
yeah.
Mhm.
I looked at it,
But
I
that
looked at it
doesn't
multiple
apply
times.
in a remote assessors meeting, because we don't have a body of people to vote. We don't. We have what, four taxpayers right here, right now. So participating in an assessors meeting is different than participating in a town meeting.
Right.
Right, but you
That's
said you
true.
can't have a remote town meeting anyway, so why is that in there? That's what I don't
It's
understand.
just gathering information, Sharon, we're just bringing it to the table to try to filter it, to get it ready to go, that's all we're doing,
Okay.
that's all.
Okay, so we have a motion to discuss further at the next meeting.
Right,
And whose motion is that?
me,
My second.
exactly. All in favor? There we go. Okay, but we did work on it, that's good.
I think it's worthwhile, so I appreciate you doing that.
Article 10, the audit update, they are coming back to work at the office on Thursday. I'm going to be here, Evan's gonna be here, it's Karen that's coming back, Lauren's not coming back this time.
So what are we working on?
I reached out to her to call me back, and I have not heard back from them, so I don't know. I asked if, what they needed of me to get ready, what documents do they wanna review, I don't know. It could be that they're coming back to do the adjustments, so we can get to reconciliations, yay.
That's fine,
I don't know.
just a lot of inputs.
Yes, so I don't know.
But this is still, we're still discussing the 2022 audit,
Yes,
which is
yes,
It would be so nice to
Still
have
not
that
done.
finished.
right.
how many years?
So we know where we're at with everything.
This is the same audit that we were told in
August,
the summer that was done.
Yeah.
I mean, I can get it done in 7 days.
We could give you an opinion.
Well, we
in
gave
7
her a
days,
lot of
we didn't have it
information
done.
the last time she was here, and we also did a lot of adjustments that we reported in that last meeting, and we'll, I mean, prepared to do it again. If she
Mhm.
wants more stuff,
So we'll see.
we'll get it to her,
I can
whatever.
update you, Charlie,
she
once
wants.
we find out. But that's all I have on that.
So
We-
who's present at that audit update?
I'll be here, and Evan will be here, and the auditor will be here.
That's
And,
it?
and if Charlie's around, he can drop in. I'm not saying he can be here,
I
that's not
thought
what I'm
Charlie would
saying.
be here,
Yeah, I think that's good.
but you don't have to, buddy, I mean, I'm just saying.
I don't know,
I don't know,
he's
I
welcome
didn't
to
check my
drop in, I
schedule.
don't know, I don't know.
I mean, the last time she was here, Charlie was very helpful because she needed so many things photocopied, and these two actually did all that
Yeah.
work while I was inputting
We
the
tag
data.
team, we got a lot of it done.
And so it actually worked out
I
quite
don't
well.
foresee that she needs to do any of that this time, I'm thinking it's gonna be adjustments.
So you know that
That's a
Charlie
gamble.
conferred with MMA regarding meetings in the town office, with assessors and RHR Smith, right? And that it is, you know, I don't know how you're supposed to get stuff done, but it is supposedly, it is a meeting that needs public notice, and.
This is not a meeting, this is a work session.
That's what they said, they specifically said, a work session is a meeting. They even used those words actually in their email, so they.
Did you get a chance to read that legal brief that they sent?
I
you
did,
and the
I
town?
did review it.
And, you know, to me, there's a little bit of gray in it, but it's fairly clear that pretty much any time two or more assessors get together, that it constitutes a meeting that the public has to be aware of.
And whether or not it's by phone, by
And I agree
person,
with you,
by-
I'm like, you know, how the hell do you get anything done? How do you strategize, make plans, you know, whatever?
I'm
I
hoping
don't-
it's for reconciliation, we can
I
move
think
this along.
the requirement is only to post it so that if the public wants to come, they can. It's a
Yeah.
FOAA requirement, and
Well,
I
right
think
now,
the only thing.
it's just me.
Right, so what they're saying though, is that you need to post it.
Well, what about this meeting tonight? I couldn't find any posting about tonight's meeting. I didn't even know if there was a meeting. I went on the website, nothing.
Right.
I went to Berry's store, nothing. I stopped in here, nothing.
It's the third Tuesday of every month.
No, it's not. It is supposed to be the third
Right, and
Tuesday
this
of
is the
every
third
month.
Tuesday.
But very often it is changed, and I thought there needed to be a posting.
I went on the website to look for it too, because I've been very busy lately and I kind of forgot where
Right.
we were at.
Well, and I thought it's
And I
school
harassed
vacation week, I
Charlie.
thought it might not be this week. I had no idea.
Right.
I've been in the block.
I think usually they post it if it gets canceled or rescheduled, right?
It's changed.
Ideally though, it
But
should
they
just be
say
on the
you can't
website.
have it.
Yeah, no, and we're gonna work on it.
The website
so-
needs a lot of love.
It does. I mean,
Oh, it's insulting. I mean,
Okay,
there's
so-
stuff on there.
It needs a lot of love.
So that's the audit, and that's what's going on with that. Okay?
Okay, so are you going, Charlie, or you're not going?
I would love it if you were there, but I understand if you can't be there, but.
Again, I'm conflicted with all of this. I think I'd like to be there, I'd like to help, we're working like we did last time, making copies, getting
It was
files.
extremely
I mean,
I
helpful.
don't think we're
Why
gonna need
that
that.
is not something that can be allowed is unclear to me.
It can be,
Because
just put a
how-
posting at Barry's and on the window.
It's
here.
not a meeting, so.
Well,
It's a work session. It's a
No,
work
they
session.
said,
And
they
it's
said,
covered, yes,
MMA
exactly.
said,
I
a work
understand.
session is a.
That's right.
A meeting.
And it is.
I
There's
did
work
see
going
it.
on, and residents are
Throw
entitled to
something
know
up
about.
there, put it on the website,
Yeah, exactly.
put it on the
Just-
door.
Just,
piece of
and it
paper.
doesn't say that you have to.
It's not hard, we can do that.
No.
Yeah, the notice just says that it has to be within a reasonable, it doesn't have to be 7 days for
No.
that type of a meeting.
That's right.
You can just put it out on there tomorrow.
I stopped
That'd
as
be fine.
late as 4 o'clock this afternoon to see if there was a meeting tonight, and there was nothing.
Right.
the thing is I'm not trying to be obstructionist, I'm trying to make sure that if somebody, calls us out, that
That's
we
right.
can say,
Covered the bases.
we did the right thing. I don't.
I like it.
That's the only thing, and you know, I'm conflicted about it, because again, like I said in my email, how the hell do you get anything done if you can't get together and have a conversation about,
Right.
you know,
I
and problem
understand.
solve and come up with ideas?
We just have to
and all that
disclose
kind
when
of
we get together.
stuff. Yeah, I think
it.
that's what we
That's
have to do.
Disclosure,
Required.
but
It's just a
It's,
safety
And it
measure.
shouldn't be
It
that
is.
hard,
It's a
and you
safety
know,
measure.
and I think that, you know, the thing is, you know, I think that's
Well,
what
and
we
at
gotta
least
do,
if it
in
was
my
posted on the
understanding.
door, and
Right.
people came in here wanting to know why there were all these cars out here, they can read on the door what's going on. They can choose to
yeah,
come in or not, but
exactly, yeah.
I just think it's a public policy that, you know, things have to be made public. You're not supposed to wonder what's everyone doing at the town hall.
What I would propose, Sandra, is perhaps, you
Even
know,
just on the
you
door.
could reach out to MMA, you know what I mean, and also try to help me interpret what they had to say, or reread that legal brief, and, you know, cause, again, I'm not trying to be obstructionist, but I don't wanna get, you know, called out and find out that we're doing something counter to,
I wish I could be more informative as to what's gonna happen on Thursday.
I don't
But I
think
don't have that
I don't think
information.
that's necessary, you just need to post what you're getting together for.
I will check on
Doesn't say anything more than that.
yeah, I think you just have to give a public notice, that's
Yeah.
all.
That's it,
I was
it's
gonna
simple,
say,
it's not that
make it easy.
You know,
complicated.
This is part of
Assessors
the
are meeting-
regular work audit, it's not,
Well, you know, again, I encourage you to read that brief
Yeah.
from the MMA legal department, that's all. And I know it seems like it'd be, there's nothing I'd wanna do more than sit down and meet with Ron Smith,
And they don't
believe
need
well,
me.
he's not coming.
You know, or
They
anyone.
don't need to be allowed to
So.
speak or anything, they just need to know what's going on, why are you meeting here?
Right.
Why is everybody in here doing something?
I think that's reasonable.
If it's,
Okay.
if it's the way it's supposed to be done, then it needs to be done that way, it's just a simple black and white. Does it need to be done, or doesn't it need to be done? Not, do we wanna do it,
I
or
will
do
check
we
with
not
them
wanna
later
do
on,
it?
get back to you,
Yeah.
Charlie.
Yeah, I just, you know, it's,
All right.
again, it's kind of a little bit of a, I'm going on what they said,
I wanna get this done.
me too.
Yeah.
believe me.
Everybody does.
So,
Yeah.
yeah,
And he
that's not
hasn't
my
signed
goal.
on, and he hasn't signed on for the 2023 audit yet.
So that is not going to hold up our town meeting this year again, though, is it?
No, no,
I
No.
have no idea.
Well,
no,
it isn't
That's
going
not-
to.
it's
Well,
not.
why would it hold
It's
it up?
not going to.
I haven't even thought about it yet, Jack. I haven't even got it done. I mean, I haven't even got it contracted yet, so.
Well, that's what I mean,
No, I said
it's
the town
already
meeting, why would
there.
the audit hold up the town meeting?
Yeah,
Shouldn't,
Shouldn't,
well, it did last year,
several
shouldn't
times.
this year.
Yeah.
Just once.
yeah.
All right, so that's the audit update that I have. I will check with them and May tomorrow, Charlie, and get back to you.
Yeah, believe me, it's nothing I wanna do more than meet.
Come hang out,
Yeah,
copy,
with you
make
guys.
photocopies.
Shouldn't need any more copies. In fact, I wasn't gonna stay if I didn't need to be needed, but
Well, I might
How long
not
is she
either,
coming for?
you know.
I don't know. I wish I knew.
You don't, but you don't know
She's
what
coming
she
in.
wants or how long she's
No,
going.
I don't,
I still want Charlie.
whatever. Okay, so that's the audit update that I have so far. Article 11 is UKVAS update. I don't know if anybody's been by the base, but they've got the new roof pretty much all stripped and ready to go. And that's part of the grant money that came through, which was good. The new ambulance, we should have a date to pick up the new ambulance very soon. And we were thinking about an open house down there with a new ambulance, maybe, for the community to come and see and that kind of thing,
That's always nice.
Sounds nice.
you know? It's kind of exciting, brand new ambulance. The second unit will not be ready for another year, but brand
So
new.
does this replace the one you're currently using, or is it an additional?
There's 2 units at the ambulance, there's
Okay.
2 units, there's
Okay.
an older model and there's a newer model.
Okay,
And it would replace
the
the
old one.
the older one, the diesel, and the newer one
Mhm.
is gonna be kept, but it's gonna be replaced, the body's gonna,
Right.
the cap's gonna come off, go on a new truck body, so
I see.
eventually we're gonna have 2 new,
Nice, nice,
so that's kind of exciting.
yeah, it is. And will they sell the old one, or?
Yeah, we'll be able to get some monetary,
Mhm. Good.
commitment back from that. the subsidies have been all decided, our budget for the ambulance did not go up that much this year, so. Yep, the ambulance is in really good shape, so. And I haven't had the meeting this month, the meeting is not till the 28th. We delayed it because of Valentine's Day. I said I refuse to be there on Valentine's Day. Even though I don't have a date, I refuse to be there. I was just kidding. Unless all of you are prepared to take me out to dinner, and they didn't wanna do that, so. I said, we'll meet on the 28th. Other than that, the ambulance is in really good shape, and things are looking up. Make a motion, we accept the ambulance report.
Second.
All in favor? Here we go. CFWF, things are pretty quiet. We haven't had any activity on the new awning yet that we put in the budget. I expect we'll be talking about that tomorrow night, Charlie.
Yeah, try to come up with, get a clear plan for that.
Yeah.
Timeframe,
Yeah.
contractor.
April showers are coming.
We will, I'm sure.
Right, it's been pretty quiet up there. Chris has been, there once a week doing the job, and, no expenses are, no nothing uncommon going on up there. Everything's going good.
The only thing that I would add, I don't think you were at the last meeting, but there was some discussion about having a day for chemical waste. And I have been reached out to Bolsters, they're gonna get back in touch with me. And I also wanted the tire invoice, I'm like, come on guys, I wanna know how much we owe you. You haven't seen it yet, have you?
No,
The tire invoice, but I wanna try to schedule a day for all the communities, for paint and that kind of stuff. Because I think it's the right thing to do, and it keeps it out of the woods and gets it out of people's
Right.
yards and kids and dogs and all that shit.
That's nice.
But I haven't heard back from Matt about that yet, but other than that, I don't have anything to
Pretty
add.
quiet up there, things are going really well. I make a motion, we accept the CFWF update.
Second.
All in favor? There we go. Old business. Any old business, Charlie?
Yeah, the only old business I have is that I had, indicated that I would follow up on trying to get a grant, or what the process was for a generator.
Okay.
And that grant program has been shut down,
Oh, boy.
so that is not an option,
Oh, man.
so.
Nice to
I've
think
got,
about it.
what's his name, Peter, the emergency management guy?
Yeah.
He said that he'd be looking for other things like that that might come up, that might help us out, so.
We
But
can
other than
always
that,
get quotes
we're
from-
not gonna get any,
Yeah.
Is that
Co-funding.
something that we can possibly put on the warrant for the town meeting to see if people are interested in?
I
Doing
think
it
that would be,
without
I
grant?
think that would be a good idea,
I
put it
do
to the
too.
people, see if they wanna spend the money or not.
We'd have to come up with a quote or something that we could bring forth to town meeting.
I would check with the guy at Olympics.
That's true, that's a good idea,
At Olympics,
yeah.
for what?
Well, they give
They're
all
always
kinds of
looking to
community
donate and buy
donations.
stuff, purchase, to help their community, and this would be something that they would
Yeah,
possibly have a donation for after their Olympics.
even if it was just a small, it wouldn't have to be the whole
They
amount.
actually come
anyway.
up with some pretty good money and some pretty good stuff.
Oh, I know they do,
You
but
know
I'm
what?
just saying, they wouldn't have to give us all of it, if
Right.
anything would be.
I think
for like a warming shelter.
Yeah.
it might surprise you.
Yeah, no, I know
That
how much.
sounds like-
What I was told was
It's a
that
very
they,
good cause.
we've got money and we have to spend it.
Yeah,
It's like,
no,
that's,
they,
right.
yeah.
you know, that's what I
They
heard.
bring it
at
in, they
one
have to
point
put
when
it
I was
out,
dealing
yeah.
Right.
with, the ball field,
Right.
mowing the ball. field.
Right, but, that's a really good idea,
It is.
and
Get some quotes.
Chris Fisher is right in West Forest, I mean, he put
We can
hours
get,
in.
I know, and
He would give you a quote, and, I mean, he's a
Yeah.
good.
George
good
Poland
person.
would give us a quote too, probably.
Okay,
Right.
Craig, yeah, we
It'd
mentioned,
be good to get to.
yeah.
Of course.
if you wanna.
We can do that in that area, and unfortunately with excavation work, we're pretty limited.
Right. So if you wanna check with Craig?
Yep.
Charlie? maybe we get a quote from him.
I just think it's a wonderful thing to consider doing for the building. I mean,
To keep it open in any kind of storm emergency, I think the climate wars are coming. I think we've only touched on
there's
it.
a lot of
It's gonna
people
get
that
worse.
older
Well,
that don't
as
have a
Charlie
place to
said,
go.
we could basically destroy our building with,
Absolutely.
freezing up the pipes.
Yeah.
So
Especially with the
it's
slab.
a prudent thing to do.
Or at least decide if that's, give it put it out there for
Right,
the voters, to consider and
That's right.
decide, it's their money. So. I don't think I have any other old business.
Okay. Article 14, new business. We already dealt with the light fixtures. What else, Charlie?
I have a couple things.
Okay.
On the website, it shows that, all of the assessors' terms expire this June when we have the next town meeting.
Right.
And that's predicated on one of the articles that was passed at town meeting.
Last time.
But when I look at it, and I looked at, I was elected for a 3-year term, and Chris was elected for a 3-year term, he's in number 2 right now. So if we didn't have that, 1-year thing, he was elected to three, he's serving second of 3 right now, and serving the first of 3. I don't believe, my personal opinion was that the intent of that article was to start with people that are elected this year.
that's correct.
But when I read it, I'm not a lawyer, all I wanna do is run it by MMA.
Good idea.
To just say, and I wanna run it by the legal team, say, what does this mean? This is what we did.
Just to make sure
And I don't
we're
wanna,
doing it
cause
right.
I read it, to be honest with you, I feel like there's a
And it
little
was something
ambiguity
on
there.
after the elections. It was, it came up later in the town meeting,
Right.
after. It
After I
wasn't
was
like it was
elected
the
to a
first
3-year
article,
term.
and then we went on to.
Yeah, and I just want clarification,
Right.
and to be perfectly honest with you, there is, to me, when I read it, it's a little ambiguous.
Mhm.
And
I agree.
that may be what they come back and say, this is ambiguous,
Mm-hmm.
and we'll have to determine where we go, once we
Right.
have an idea of what their
Well,
interpretation.
Right,
Okay.
and I don't think the intent was originally to wipe everyone out all at once going forward.
That's what it's doing.
Well, no, not if you read it, that it starts with these elections this year.
So
It
that,
doesn't,
it could,
because you're only electing, certain positions this year. And it was this year and going, and
forward.
continuing.
My
right.
interpretation, just to be honest, is that, I was elected to a 3-year term, I have this year and 2 more, Chris was elected to a 3-year, he has this one and 1 more.
That's right, so it
However, anybody
staggers,
new elected
that's right,
this year, it's for 1 year.
in 24.
Right,
Mhm.
and
So-
then you would re-go again, but
That's right.
that Chris was 3, he's gonna finish out his 3.
Right.
In other words, that we're grandfathered.
Exactly.
That was the
Basically,
intent.
that's my
That was
inter-
the intent.
But
was
I
the
really do
intent.
think that we should have, it's clearly not how Sandra interpreted it, and so I think we should have MMA just weigh in on it. Are you okay with that, Sandra?
Absolutely.
Okay.
But I think they need to know that we did elect those people
What-
before that
Or
article
you
came
could
up.
always give them a copy of the.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
what I'm gonna do,
yeah,
is give them the actual articles,
Right.
you know what I mean,
Right,
and then see what they have to say.
exactly,
And that's all, we'll take the rest of it from there.
right.
What we're gonna do depending on. The thing is, what I have come to understand, when you deal with MMA and legal, it has to be a request from the town
Mhm.
in general, that's why I'm talking now about it. I can't call MMA, can you do this? You know what I
That's
mean?
right, that's
Because they are there to help the town as a whole,
exactly,
and they don't wanna get involved in internal politics and
No.
you know what I mean? Me asking for a legal opinion about what Sandy did and what she didn't do
Right,
and that kind of stuff.
exactly.
Now they're getting involved in internal, town stuff, they're not gonna do that, they're not
Right.
gonna touch it.
Okay.
So that's why I wanted to bring it up.
Let's make sure
Get
that,
clarified.
because we get prepared for the warrant,
Right.
to get the town meeting ready in June.
That's
June.
why I wanted to.
June.
That's why I wanted to bring it up now.
I'm saying June.
yes. Well, you need that opinion too, because
Yeah.
Right,
if what you're interpreting is correct, then as of June 30th, you have no one, you have no officials.
right. No, we do need to know
Until
that,
we have
that's
the
why I
town
wanna
meeting.
do it
That's
now,
right,
that's why I wanna get
exactly.
it clarified
But
now.
it's imperative.
So I have, new business,
Okay.
mowing. Mowing, we do not have a mowing person. So I talked with, Whittemore's and Son, as I was trying to find out when we bought the mower, cause I couldn't remember. And I was trying to get the assets report ready. We bought it in 2017, 2015. So what year is it now, 2024?
Yeah.
So we've had it for a while, but, mowing, we're gonna have to put out a job opening for the mowing. And I think we should do that, by March, you know, by the next meeting, have a, post the job.
Yep.
Cause I think we, you know, clearly been addressed by the townspeople, they want that cemeteries taken care of before Memorial Weekend, so we need to get prepared for that. So we have to put out the job description, we also have to take the mower down to Whittemore's and Son, where it sat idle most of the summer, and have them go over it. We paid $4,700 brand new for it, but, Harold is taking very good care of it. But I think that, you know, in his absence and not having it used last year, that we should take it down.
Well, do we know how many hours are on it?
I don't, but,
Cause that's one of the key things. This is just my
yeah,
feeling on
go
that.
ahead.
Is Whittemore's, I wouldn't bring anything to Whittemore's, because I think they are a gaff, and I don't think I don't like Whittemore's, but that's my personal opinion.
We bought it.
But I think that depending on the hours, and if there's nothing, I mean, I have lawnmowers, I have to maintain them, and the maintenance is pretty basic. Belts, oil, air filter,
Right.
until something breaks.
Mhm.
And when something breaks, you fix it yourself, you bring it to the shop. But the basic maintenance, so just my concern is you bring it down there, oh yeah,
They're
here we
gonna tell
go.
you you need a new one.
Yeah, I'm
Well,
just
you
saying.
could always trade it in.
Yeah, right.
But, because I can do basic maintenance, and I would have no problem doing that.
Right.
I would just do it.
We
Do it
can
on
bring
my
it up
own.
at the next meeting, but,
So, but that's just
Save
my,
us money.
yeah, that's my feeling about it. But again, I'd have to look at the mower, I mean, I take a look and take it a ride, I can tell you in 2 minutes whether it's something that we can do or needs to go to a shop.
yeah,
Or,
no, that's true.
you know, if there's anything pending, so that would be, but we can
It's
discuss it.
something we need to address,
Yeah,
We
yeah.
need to address.
So are you offering to look at it, is that what you're saying?
I think we need, what Sam was saying is that the mowing situation needs to be addressed, we need to hire somebody, and we need to make sure that the mower is,
Ready to go.
ready to go.
Ready.
I mean, I took the battery out of it last year, I started it before I did that, you know, everything seemed pretty good, but I didn't do, you know, I didn't check the blades.
That's something we're gonna have to do.
Okay, so is the person that we hire gonna be the one who determines if the mower is ready to go, or is our?
The board will decide, the board.
Okay, but who's gonna look at it? That's,
Well, we don't-
I'm just trying to write this down.
This is preliminary, we don't need to decide right now, we're gonna bring it up at the next meeting.
Okay,
Preliminary discussion.
Yeah,
okay.
trying to get,
No, I
No
know.
action.
keep it
See,
in
this is,
mind.
it's important, because again, if we're I mean, to me, I'm just saying, this
I don't
would be
wanna-
something that the board can talk about and say, what are we gonna do about the lawnmower, if it was your business, this and that, you know.
Right.
You wouldn't call the whole company and have a meeting about how you're gonna deal with the lawnmower. But that's what, you know, this is a transition for me into public service, and
Right.
when the public needs to be, you know, notified, involved, all that kind of stuff, I'm still trying to figure it all out.
okay.
I have one other
Go
thing
ahead.
for new business, and this has to do with Tim Woodcock.
Okay.
And to the best of my knowledge, the last time that we got an invoice from Tim Woodcock was November of 22,
Correct.
15 months ago. That
Mhm.
is highly irregular.
Mhm.
And I think that we need to insist on getting an invoice from Tim Woodcock as soon as possible.
I have asked him on many occasions, and I have got nothing.
Okay, then,
Put it in writing.
Yes,
Uh,
yes.
yeah. then then I will put it in writing. We need to know.
The
I mean, as a
residents wanna know.
representative of the town, we need to know.
I talked with
And
them
if
last
you-
week.
All I, I don't wanna get.
Right.
I will do whatever needs to be done,
I will,
to get
I will
that.
talk to Mr. Woodcock
okay?
myself.
And I don't wanna have to do what needs
I
to be
think it
done.
needs to be in writing. I think we need, as residents.
Yeah, I would like
know
you to
that
send
it
him
has
an
been
email and I'd
put
like you
in
to CC
writing.
me. I really, this is very irregular.
Yeah.
And I need, the townspeople and myself, who has been elected by, folks to be a steward of the town's resources, I need to know how much money, we owe that guy.
Well, I think, speaking as a resident, I wanna know how much, how much money we owe him how can you do a budget next year? How can you do anything?
Right.
I wanna know why you talked to him last week.
And
What's that?
Why are we talking to him last week
He called.
about?
So you've been having communication
No,
with?
he called,
Yeah.
I had a
That's
conversation.
Shouldn't the
billable
assessors
hours.
know?
No,
Shouldn't the
no.
assessors
Okay.
know that you've been talking to the
For
lawyer?
heaven's sakes, guys, relax.
It was about me, Dave.
It was about the crabapple, liquor license, it was. Tim had been contacted by their attorney. And he just brought me up to speed about the conversation, nothing has taken place with that, there's no actions taken. He just was contacted by their attorney. That was it.
But back to the original thing, is that as residents, I mean, how are we going to plan a budget for town meeting? I mean, this is highly irregular that we don't, either we don't owe him anything.
Right,
Or we owe him
but he needs to verbalize
$50,000.
it, he needs to verbalize it, so we won't be concerned.
And
No, he
we,
needs to
and I
write it
believe
down.
as a board, you are responsible for sending a letter to him requesting this, not just talking about it on the phone. Because you don't have we don't have any
Proof.
Evidence
proof
or
that
paper
anything
trail.
was
No,
asked
we
of
haven't got
him.
anything since, like he said,
And then
in
he
November.
needs to respond to the town in writing as to whether we don't owe him anything or whatever. I mean, if he's doing this out of the goodness of his heart, that's fine, and some attorneys do that.
He's
When
still
I
has
just
to-
wanna know that.
The
But
thing
I
is
wanna
that
know
he
that.
still, by law, has to account for his hours.
Of course he
And what
does.
he's been doing, even if he isn't charging for it.
I
We don't
agree.
need a bill all at once for a whole year's worth of.
Right.
15 months, it's not even
And I
a
can
year.
see that
Devastating
he's
budget.
doing that. I
Yeah.
would not think that he would do that, but.
So I
anyway.
think it's just to protect the board in itself, and I don't think it's fair to just shut this
I
under
will
the table.
Communicate with him.
Thank
And
you.
tell,
Email,
you have to
and
do
I'll
it in
CC you.
writing, I'm requesting that as a resident.
I will do that in an email, and I will CC the
Okay,
board.
that's fine.
Absolutely.
Thank you,
Thank you.
thank you. I know that you talked to him, but that's not the same. And he needs to
Conversation I had with
respond.
him in, I don't know, 5 months.
I mean, as a suspicious person, I just say, why doesn't somebody wanna get paid in 12 or 15 months?
Yeah,
Unless there's some kind of ulterior motivation there. Why wouldn't you wanna get paid if you have a business? Makes no sense to me.
Doesn't make sense.
I like to get paid.
The one reason why I go to work.
Right, I will,
Let's see
I
how
just,
reasonable
I
it
just
is.
don't
Job.
believe that we can close our budget, our fiscal year with not knowing
I
how many
agree.
bills are outstanding.
Citizens' comments and questions, even though you've been
Oh, I have
really
one-
commenting and questioning.
Charlie, I have one more new
Okay,
business, cause
all right.
this is an opportunity for you, little man.
What?
Bump signs on the Lake Moxie Road,
Mhm.
have been, this is the time of year when the bump signs need to go in the ground and be monitored and kept up. Is that anything that you'd be willing to
I'd
do?
love to. I saw the signs, we have little sticks to put them on.
We do, we have sticks in the garage.
All right.
And I am given the sole authority to determine what
Oh my God.
represents a
I
bump
can
and
go
what
over it
doesn't.
with you how I've usually done it.
I mean, my bump might not be your bump.
True.
Just
I
saying.
just didn't know if you would like to
No, I'd love to do that.
Now, basically, it's like a 3 to 4 week period,
Mhm.
you know. And we do the whole road for the county,
Oh, you do even the county section?
We even do the county section.
That's interesting.
This is like the 4th year since we've had the road paved. The first 2 years, there wasn't much going on.
Right.
This year, we got some bumps, Charlie.
Okay, like I said, I don't travel.
The staple gun is out in the garage on one of the shelves,
And there's some sticks out there.
and there's
It's
sticks
a
there,
4-week period, you said?
right about a 4-week period, depending, you'll know.
Other than
Right.
this- Okay.
I don't know if you can
Is
get
there
them in the
standard?
road right now. I usually put them in the snowbank, and as the snowbank recedes, I pick them up and put them in again.
Yeah, I'll look at it. There must be some standards of how far on each side of the bump they have to be placed too.
You know,
I
if
mean,
you've
it's
got
4
more than
feet
one
before the
bump,
it doesn't
Approach
count.
it, right?
Well, I'm just saying.
if there's
it's
more
gotta
than
be-
one bump, I usually put an S on the bottom and put on either side of the bump, all right? I don't know, I mean, if you want some, I can,
That sounds good, no, I'm
I
good.
can write up a list of things I usually do if you need.
No, I do it, and you know what, you drive that road so often, if there's something that needs to be fixed, or a bump that I
Man,
decided wasn't a bump, if you think it is, you let me know, and I'll put one up. You know, I'm just saying, you know, it's somewhat subjective.
I just thought
That
I'd
kind of thing. No, I'd love to
mention
do
it
that.
too, okay?
I just have one question, and I don't even know if this is the appropriate place, I'm just trying to get information. But the snowmobiles no longer, this year, they're supposed to travel on the other side of the road, not on our driveway side. And Danny McDonald, actually, they even moved the guardrail at one point to make that wider.
Yeah.
So all the snowmobile traffic would be over there.
Right.
They don't go over there at all, they come down the side by the driveway.
You see
I'm
they destroyed the road
terrified-
on this side.
Well, I'm terrified that I'm gonna run over one of them, because, you know, they've just come flying down by their driveway. But even worse, have you noticed that it's ruined that whole side of the road by our driveway? There's like big rocks that
Yeah,
have been dug up by those, and who fixes that? Is it the snowmobile club? I don't know, and I don't need an answer.
yeah.
But I just, if you go by there, look at it, it's really serious. And they're destroying that edge of the tar there. They're supposed to be on the other side, and obviously there's not
There's no
proper
snow.
signage
There's
there.
no snow there either.
Well, it's snow on our side, but that's why they're ruining that whole
The-
thing, but at the
I
end
think
of our
the best-
driveway, it's a
best
mess, and
solution
it's
to
gonna
this
need
is-
to be fixed.
If people are okay with it, and it's not gonna fix a road, but it might help, from safety purposes, right now is our best thing, having them going by the end of your driveway.
Why is
Just
it-
talk to Ben,
Why is
and
that
get
the
the
safest
signage.
place?
because you're coming down your driveway.
Oh, no, I mean, it's not safe, that's
That's
what I'm saying.
it's a
I thought you
safety
meant that
issue.
was the safe, yeah,
No,
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 it's
it's a
serious,
safety
a
issue.
safety issue.
So what I'm
And
saying
you're supposed to
is-
come out and cross the road up above and
I-
ride that side down.
I think with,
And then
if
go
we
back
talk with
that
Ben,
side
he
too.
would do the best he could to get the appropriate
Well, it's kinda
signage.
late this year,
You
but,
know what I'm saying, that's the
but
way.
it has to be addressed before next year, cause it can't, they're ruining that.
Wouldn't it be nice if they didn't come down at all? Wouldn't it be nice if they crossed up on the Lake Moxie side?
Oh, I'd be thrilled.
This is a possibility, we don't
Yeah,
know.
really, but honestly, it is really a safety issue. It scares me to come out of the driveway, cause they just come down that side
That's
and.
hopefully, I don't know how much snowmobile we got left,
No,
but
I don't either.
it is
and
something to
and
keep
that's
in mind,
why-
you're absolutely right, Sharon.
But when it's
Absolutely.
over, that needs to be fixed, and I don't know whose responsibility it is to fix it.
Yeah.
And it's, yep, good question.
So are you gonna speak to?
Totally rutted out there, it's a mess.
Shirley?
I might talk to
Same.
him informally, but I think pretty much like what these folks have said, what's done this year is done, and, I don't think we got much snowmobiling left, you know what I mean? But I think that it's important that
No, you're right.
we have the
But they
proper
can't
signage.
ruin that and then expect the town to just pay for it.
I
That's it.
agree.
There has to be some responsibility.
I know he's brought dirt in there before and that, where that driveway comes out, I know Ben's fixed that before, so.
No, well,
Probably where it
you
comes
know,
out of Ernie's old
But it
driveway.
breaks off all the tar.
I know.
It's a mess. It's particularly
The
bad
whole
this
road
year
is going
because there
down.
hasn't been any snow.
Right, oh, there's no question.
And they have constantly been only on that side of the road. There's been very little across the way, but,
I came to meet Gordon for a ride about a week and a half ago.
yeah,
And thought it was in a trailer and I drove up.
yeah.
I came down that side.
Oh,
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
It's
Everybody
bad,
does.
it's bad.
We know the
Everybody
causes
does.
now, we know the,
It's Charlie's
I
fault.
don't have any studs in my track, and I don't have scrapers.
Gosh,
Good.
I can't believe it's those rocks, and they're sharp and pointed.
Gordon was amazed that I rode up there, he goes, when they wanted to give me a trailer ride home, I'm up all set. So I'll tough it out.
Alright, so we're
Okay.
gonna, figure
That's
this,
good.
this cemetery thing out. Alright, so, only comment, that's all you had?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm all done.
Motion to adjourn, 9:01.
Second.
Let's boogie.
All in favor?
Good night.
Don't say Jack, check.
Thanks for coming.
Oh,
Thank
my
you,
jacket,
guys.
I'll know when I get outside that I need it. Yeah,
Yep,
Definitely.
yeah, get on the horn, yeah, that's why I was.
Yeah, I will.
How you been, Alan?
Good,
Winter is getting on the downside for us now, and
that's right.
the tulips will be up soon. so.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Tulips.
Got some
tulips.
at my house right now.
Pushing up tulips, isn't it? What's he talking about?
What is wrong with this?
No way, really. It's gonna take a walk, right?
So they live in Southern California.
Oh my God.
And their mother, Rebecca, and so they bought them out here and
All right,
they've been sledding.
okay,
they've
did
walked
you
on
wanna
the
do
lake.
cemetery
I mean,
tonight, or what are we
and
looking
they're
at?
gonna go,
I don't know, because you said you had to check with them to make sure.
Well, I just need to look out, I just wanna look at.
Yeah, and so.
I've already checked with them, and they said use the restriction.
The trouble is, if you for a notary, everybody has to be there.
Yeah.
You know, you can't.
Isn't it like probably two?
Oh, so
I
it's
think
the
this is two of
assessors?
us.
Hold on.
Okay, so it's the assessors, so, okay.
So,
Yeah, you're not,
Okay, so that's the thing, is that I'm notarizing your signatures, not mine.
correct, your signature's up here and your name is seal up here.
Okay,
Your clerk's.
So-
then I can, in my opinion, I can do that then, because I'm notarizing your signatures.
Right.
I'm just, yes, so I feel like I can do that.
Okay.
And I think there's only two right there. What do
We're the majority of the board anyway, so it's legal.
And it's not gonna be a problem with someone else. Here they have what, one, two.
Yeah, is this the clerk's signature?
Signed, sealed, and the president's on it.
Signed, sealed, okay.
So
Okay.
you're doing your signing, we're doing here, and then we're down here.
Okay, I don't have to sign, I don't know. It doesn't look like the clerk signs, you guys do. And then if I'm signing as a notary,
Down here.
right, but I'm not signing as the clerk.
You still have to do your seal.
Okay, and I have to also fill in the date.
Right, which I didn't do, 'cause
Clerk, yeah, because we didn't know which one, okay.
I got a blue one, oh, I got a blue one, you want blue?
I want my,
I look at this and the Kathy Carson there with on.
are you supposed to use blue or
Assessors,
black
clerk,
signature?
and.
No, well, we can be black, I can be
No, I've
black.
got black here.
And when I look at that, I think we had Dan McDonald and Kathy Carson, being assessors, clerks,
All right,
notaries.
and I need to turn off my.
See, Kathy Casson is, Kathy Casson was the clerk.
So I don't-
Signed, sealed, and delivered the presence